welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Verizon VCT Game Changers presented by Dignitas. It's Championship Sunday. DDK and Sean Garris are back to partake in the excitement that is building. Are you ready, Sean?
I am indeed ready. I am very ready. Dan, are you ready?
Yeah, are you ready, Dan?
I'm good to go, man. I'm happy that we're going to see hopefully all of the maps. That's my prophecy: is all the maps, all the rounds, and all the maps.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and just dive on in. Dan, let's talk about our first team here with this matchup. It's CLG Red.
Yeah, it's actually amazing because CLG Red commonly finding themselves in this position in the finals against Cloud9 Whites, and I think in terms of the competition that you'd expect, this is it. They're getting the opportunity to run it back once again against a team that they're very familiar with. And I think, I always want to mention this off of the face of that scenario. You always have to understand that team has small edges in terms of knowing what they'll be up against and being able to have more of an advantage from the anti-stratting perspective. And you have a lot of extremely experienced players. I think this is a really well-rounded roster. I think you would agree, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the contrast in style between these two teams, though, is really important to point out. The top performers in this server for the event are actually Claudia and Benita on the duelist roles for the most part. Benita dabbles in like breach picks here and there, but the stylistic difference between relying on two-star players, kind of like the Sentinels formula, versus when you watch Cloud9 White, it feels more EU. It seems very tactically heavy, and everyone has a role in a given round. So I think we have the best final possible because I love these stylistic clashes.
Yes. All right. Well, everyone, let's take a look at what CLG Red's Benita, Naomi, and Rise had to say on their shift over to Valorant and how they prepared for VCT.
Hey everyone, I'm Sapphire, and I am here today with CLG Red, one of the women's teams playing in the Verizon VCT Game Changers presented by Dignitas. Joining me, we've got Benita, Naomi, and Rise. Hey y'all, thanks for being here.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
All right, Naomi, introduce us to Rise.
I met Rise back in October when I was first trying out for this team, and she is our smoke character. So she plays like Astra, Omen, and stuff, and Viper. There are like a few like pro players that actually like recommended for her to try out for this team. So she's got pretty good rep. She's really nice, really funny.
Benita, why don't you introduce us to Naomi?
I met Naomi from CS. She has mostly just a CS background. She was always very much involved in the women's competitive scene when it came to Counter-Strike, and yeah, she's a great teammate. She has a really bubbly personality, very fun, loving, kind, sweet girl.
Rise might have the hardest one here just because Benita's got like such a long history.
Yeah.
All right, Rise, where did it all start?
Well, basically, everybody knows Benny. She played CS back in the days a lot. She competed a lot, and she's our captain, which means she like picked out all of us and made this great team.
Obviously your team has been playing in, I feel like, a number of different women's events. I see over the past couple months. Is there any sort of like rivalries you formed against teams? I know you've played TSM a lot. Obviously, Dig and CLG was always a rivalry in CS. Do you have any rivals right now that you're really excited to play against?
I'm personally really excited to play against TSM. Every time I play against them, they seem very, very prepared, and I respect that. Like, I love playing against a team who shows up playing their own game and then also playing to the disadvantage of the other team. So they seem very prepared every time I meet them in a server.
Right. What are your team's expectations for the upcoming VCT Game Changers? Where do you see your team placing?
We're definitely aiming for that first place.
Good.
Like that's it.
Awesome. They want to be pro gamers with a tier 1 org. What piece of advice would you have for those women that want to get into competitive Valorant and hopefully make it to a pro team? And I'd love to hear from each of you. Whoever wants to go first.
I guess I'll start. Before, I never had a really like competitive experience. This is actually my first like competitive team, and I had no idea that this would happen to me. So my advice would be to never lose hope, but to keep grinding and expect the best, because you never know what could happen.
Any final shout outs, partners, moms, boyfriends, anyone?
I'll just say thank you so much to CLG for believing in us, and thank you so much to Dignitas for putting on this amazing tournament, and Riot and the community and just everybody involved, always doing an amazing job.
All right, well, that's it. Thank you so much for your time, ladies. Wishing you the best of luck in the event and can't wait to see what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Radiant content. You guys know it, you love it. First of its kind women's gaming hub, your go-to destination for women's esports news, calendars of events and women's tournaments, plus future Valorant rankings. That's awesome. So if you definitely want to stick around and get plugged into the community, head over to radiant.gg. Don't forget that I, it's RAIDIANT.gg. Bookmark it so that you don't lose that spot. And also additionally, make sure to follow over at Twitter at RadiantGG. All right, so moving on. That is our first team. They are going up against Cloud9 White, currently undefeated. Sean, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, quietly, Annie has actually been the #1 performer for Cloud9 throughout this tournament. And I say quietly because we've hyped up Jazzykins so much in these matchups. Alexis has had some banger maps as well. Katsumi. I mean, Dan and I have to remember that ace she had on Bind. Mel, obviously, always holding it down as the IGL, but never really overextending. So she's not really known for the flashy plays. This is just an all-around solid roster. Honestly, like, there's 0 weak points in it. And that's part of the reason why teams struggle to beat them in this scene is you really don't have an anti-strat point of weakness when you look at Cloud9, and tactically, they are very, very solid.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, DDK? Anything really that we can more say on
Yeah,
this?
I mean,
Like...
I just totally echoed a lot of those sentiments. I think it's a really interesting team to try and beat because you have to try to think, well, you know, the level of strategy and tactics that they have and how they focus on that element of their gameplay. Because, you know, we'll always be talking about that. We'll always make such a concerted effort when we're casting to just really note exactly the kinds of tactics that they put together. And like there are some simple things that they do that's just so well orchestrated. Just for example, from memory, we had this moment on Ascent where we had they were on an eco with 2 shorties, one on either end of the map, and they had these like very specific bait setups around them that ended up winning them that particular round. That's just some smaller, flashier things, but we are generally seeing advantages through the tactics. Always making better use of utility, always having the edge on having more ultimates. Just having those kinds of edges is huge. And so when you're looking at a matchup against them, it's hard, I think, to try and beat them in that area of the game. So you want to see their opponents maybe looking to other elements to try and actually take them down. And before I mentioned you need to play more of a Gambly style. You need to get things rolling in terms of your mechanical like your more mechanical players, giving them the opportunity to have the freedom to create problems. I think that's where the game needs to be won. With that said, though, I do think that there are some weaknesses from a map pool perspective that I think CLG Red could be in a great position to actually exploit here.
Ooh, all right.
Ooh.
I know, spicy.
Oh.
Okay, well, everyone, before the event, C9 Whites, Annie, Alexis, and Katsumi shared their thoughts on pressures to succeed here and their expectations heading into this $50,000 bracket. Here's Ito of Dignitas with the interview.
Hey everyone, my name is Ito. I'm with Dignitas, and today I'm actually joined by Cloud9 White, and honestly, how could you not be excited to be joined by Cloud9 White? We're joined by Katsumi, Annie, and Alexis. Katsumi, I want you to actually introduce your teammate, Annie.
Yeah, I would say that Annie is like funny and like witty, but also like cool and collected. Like I can't think of another person on the team who like can keep our mood up, but also like keep us in the zone at the same time better than she does.
I love that. Well, Annie, now it's gonna be your turn to gas up your teammate. What do you think of Alexis?
Alexis is probably one of the best support players I've played with, and never really find anybody as a replacement in ranked. She has some really, really good banger clutches, and I don't know, just seeing her in a 1v5 and like kind of like knowing that she has a chance to win it is kind of a awesome feeling to have for a teammate. So
Having that trust is amazing. Alexis, how about you?
Kat is like one of the happiest people that I have met, dude. She is singing songs during practice. She's hyping everybody up. Doesn't matter how she's doing, she's still gonna hype everybody up and hype herself up too. She's just a really positive teammate to have, and I really love having her on the team.
So as a reigning like VCT Game Changers champions, how are you feeling heading into the event as a whole? I mean, you said that you're going to treat this as like just any other event. Have you been, I guess, kind of prepping for any teams in particular?
in terms of counter-starting, not really. We haven't really like looked at any of the teams. I don't know. We're just kind of like focusing a lot on ourselves and scrimming like other tier 2 teams and tier 1 teams. So I think we're a lot more prepped for this.
I think the team that will probably give us the hardest time again is Moon Raccoons. I think they go by Built Butter now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that they'll have the closest game against us, but I don't think that they'll win.
And Katsumi, I mean, is there anyone you think that could even realistically pose a challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I think that some orgs have like put in resources into some of these teams and they've gotten more time to practice, but I still think that when we go into tournaments, we play our own game.
I love to hear that confidence. This next question, well, actually most of these questions come from Sapphire. She was really interested in kind of asking you about the women's scene as a whole, because Game Changers events has opened up like a ton of opportunities for women to enter the competitive space. And have there been any individuals that have been like really surprising, fun to watch, or you even think can compete on the same level as C9 White?
I think that the Moon Raccoons girls are like really nuts, and I think that the last VCT was a really good example of like showing off like these new young girls that are like really, really good and ready to enter the scene.
I just want to say, like, we have a youngin on our team, but like it's really exciting for me to see all these like 15, 16-year-old girls who are like competing in these big, you know, tournaments with big prize pools too. They're only going to get better and better, and they have a lot of time to like improve, you know. So.
Do you have any specific advice for other women's teams, excuse me, who want to compete on that higher level?
I'd say if you really want to take it to the next step, you have to, like, as a team and individually, like, start recording everything you do, start VOD reviewing. I mean, it takes a long time. We're still always working on, like, you know, fixing our issues, and so it's an ongoing process, but the way to get to that higher level is you just need to start doing that.
My advice would just be to like stay open-minded, like take criticism from your teammates or whoever you play against. Play in all the open tournaments you can with your team.
Alexis kind of stole what I was going to say, but play in every tournament you can, literally everyone. Like, don't just play in the women's tournaments. I think you're hindering yourself if you're only playing in like the women's tournaments. Like, play in the open tournaments, play against every team, like the best teams you can, because the thing you don't really realize when you first start scrimming and you don't have a lot of tournament experience is it's like not the same environment. Like, things don't quite feel the same unless you get those reps in and you get that experience. And it's something that's going to come in really handy when you like prepare for these really big events, is like having all those small tournaments behind you really, really helps.
That makes me want to play some more tournaments. Thank you so much, C9 White, for joining me. It's been awesome talking with you. Do you have any final messages just before, you know, we actually officially sign off? You know, shout outs you want to give to your friends?
Shout out to Mel and Jazzy.
Yeah, shout out. Miss you guys.
Yeah, Mel and Jazzy. They're amazing. Thank you again so much, and I suppose that we'll see you in Game Changers. Thank you.
And of course, that as well over at Radiant. You can catch that interview and more over on their YouTube channel. And I love how Alexis had said in that interview, I'm not sure if it actually happened right here in this moment, but I love it was, I'm going to quote, "I don't feel any pressure against any of the teams that will be playing. I think we're going to get first pretty easily again." What do you think, chat?
Yeah.
How easy is this going to be?
I love the quiet cockiness out of the C9 White player. Like, they don't they don't outright say that they're just dominant, but you can get the vibe watching the interviews that they know they should win this tournament, and they're kind of looking past it into like, you know, bigger events later on. Like they're actually using this as a stepping stone.
Yeah, it's like it's like they've had PR, you know, set them out, like prep them for these kind of vibes already. Yeah, they're pros already, you know. All right, well, let's bring up our head-to-head players. Sean, let's talk about it. Why should we be keeping an eye on them? It's the 16-year-old on C9 Jazzykins versus the 5th filling in for CLG, Claudia.
Yeah, I mean, if you watched Claudia yesterday on that jet roll, she is very, very impressive. Like, I was watching her lurk through the tube on Icebox, smoking off alarm bots, getting behind enemy lines. She also was popping out blade storms, getting like double entries. It's just hyper aggressive, actually. And you can see that actually in her first blood percent, 22.5% around. That's insane. But Jazzy, on the other hand, plays that team role, but we can also see her take over games, right? Like the bind game yesterday that Dan and I casted, I believe it was Friday actually. She had almost 30 frags that game. It was unreal. And that's the difference with these two players is I think Jazzykins can fall back into a passive role within the team. And she's shown me that, you know, I mean, that's in large part due to Mel's system that she's created. And when you talk to Mel, she gets a lot of inspiration from like V1 and Fnatic, these heavy tactical teams. But wow, does Jazzy have the ability to like turn a switch and also be that star fragger for this team?
Hey guys, it's maps time. Let's bring it up. What are the maps looking like right now in the order of first up we have Split, everyone, then Ascent, and then Icebox, even in bind should we need it. Guys, all right, you know, Dan, Split is first. Now, that is the map that Shopify did take down off of C9. Obviously, we discussed that they surely made their corrections there, but could this potentially be an area that CLG is able to poke at?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I think, you know, very quickly, it's worth mentioning that, you know, coming in with the advantage into this, instead of having an advantage on a map, it's an advantage on the vetoes. So Breeze went out straight away by C9, and the map that I think that stands out, that's very, very strong, that C9 just slap everybody on is Haven, and that's something that we've seen. And that is also in the last time these two teams matched against each other, Haven, you know, was a similar result. CLG Red really struggled there. But with that said, maps like Split, Bind, and Bind being a map that can be a bit touch and go at times, I think, for C9 White. You know, these are actually maps that play pretty well into CLG Red's map pool, and also Iceboxes. You know, I think I saw C9 White relying on some of their clutch on some of the Icebox games, and you can simplify your Icebox a lot. So if your mechanical players are really hitting, if Claudia is having a really awesome game on the jet, you know, Icebox is a map where you can actually make it work with pretty simple strategies. Like, for example, like a slow siege into the A site. You can really limit a team that's better strategically and better at the mid-round decision-making on a map like that. So with some of these things said, I do think there are openings in this best of 5. But again, C9 White definitely will always be the clear favorites, until they're not. But right now, they still are. So I feel like there's openings, but it, of course will be tough.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and echo what you said. I think Split to open it up is a very big map for CLG. Like you said, I have seen nothing that shows me that C9 White is going to lose on Haven. Their Haven is phenomenal. The way that they run the Sky Sova combination on the map to just, you know, play passively on A on attack and then take it back later on in the round. They've run into so many different setups, and every single time they've proven to me that, you know, they have gone over all these scenarios in scrims. And that's what you heard Katsumi say in the interview, is those reps, they're very, very important. And you can visually see that when you watch Cloud9 White, that they've had those reps and they know how to react in so many different scenarios.
All right, well, the time is nigh. It's getting so close, everyone. And before we go, of course, it's grand finals. I need to get predictions first from you boys, but I don't want to just hear who's winning. I want to hear which map specifically. I want to make it harder. Pick which map they win, how much. What's the scoreline here, Sean?
Oh, man. I think I really want to have a competitive series like that goes the distance, but I think Cloud9 ends up taking this 3-1. I think maybe they drop Split to open it, but their Ascent is too solid, their Haven's too solid. So at that point, you know, I'm kind of just coping if I want CLG to start stealing maps from then on out. So I'm gonna go C9 White 3-1 in this series.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have an optimistic view for just the the competitiveness of the finals. Where I think if CLG Red win, it has to be in 5 maps. I think opening with Split, that is somewhat of a must win. I feel like Ascent is going to be very tough against how strategical we know C9 White to be. They showed a lot of amazing stuff there. Icebox again as the 3rd map. That seems like there could be definitely openings there for CLG Red to take advantage of. So. Then there's Haven, that's the 4th map, and we know C9 White are absolute monsters there. I don't see a chance for CLG Red on that map. And then we actually finish on Bind. And actually, if we did finish on Bind, I do think C9 White haven't shown the strongest version of their game there. So, and CLG Red that's one of their most comfortable maps, at least on the statistics. So if CLG Red are going to win this, it does have to go to 5. I don't see another chance. But otherwise, I'm with Sean on the 3-1 for C9 White.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that the 5th map, the 5th map is the one that CLG would have a chance on, but if Cloud9 take 3 already before that, then they're not going to get there. It'd have to be a 2-2 to even get to that point. So, all right, it's time now. Everybody hypes in chat. It's C9 White versus CLG Red into our SIG Agent Selects.
Hell yeah, here we go. This is going to be a really interesting. Just to kick things off, Sean, we've already highlighted how scary this matchup is for CLG Red, but this is the 2nd time they're going to find themselves in a grand finals at VCT Game Changers against C9 White. So maybe they'll bring something different here. Off of the bat with the Agent Select, what are we looking at?
Yeah, this is what I was referring to before the series started, is even though Claudia and CLG are the top performers in this server throughout the event, and you would assume, Benita would be on a duelist, and she is on most of the maps, she isn't on Split. She plays this breach role, and she does really, really well. Actually has the highest number of assists throughout the entire event. So despite playing duelist on most of the maps, she's still racked up a crazy stat like that. I have faith in CLG on this map, Dan. How about you? Do you have faith?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think, especially with the breach, there is a lot that you can do off of the default on the attack, which is where we'll see CLG Red to begin with. But I think it's really interesting, and I hope that we'll see it. One of my favorites with breach is working that A ramp pressure, because you can use the fault line to deny that entry. You can of course smoke off the vision from the A site, so you can kind of cross safely up to A ramp, and you can kind of do that with 2 players. You don't have to invest a lot, but it feels very oppressive to the defenders and kind of has to force a rotation. So that's one way you can kind of open up things with breach. There's lots you can do with the fault line also towards the B side of the map. So I'm super curious on that default that we're going to see out of CLG Red.
Well, one thing I do want to point out before we start is the difference in styles again coming to fruition. Even though Benita's on that breach, CLG Red is running 2 duelists here. They have a Raze, they have a Jet. Cloud9 White opts to go with two controllers on their setup. So they have an Omen and a Viper. I don't know. I've seen Jet have so much success on this map. Just being able to hover in the middle of mid. Shazam is the one that comes into mind the most. And Claudia has shown she's willing to take those risks and get the information in mid throughout the round. So I think the Jet could be a difference maker in this matchup here.
Yes, I love that you've brought that to our attention, because one of the things we definitely see in other competitions as well is that sometimes if your Jet's good enough and finds the right opportunities, can completely take over a game. And especially if there's not another Jet to actually respond to that can actually be very difficult, even against the most well-prepared teams strategically and tactically. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing how Claudia does on this attack for CLG Red. And this is it. We're going to kick things off here with a pistol between CLG Red and C9 White. C9 White on that defense, and we'll see most players here for CLG Red towards this mid position. And there's already a flash to get some information as to what they're doing.
Ooh, look at this Viper wall that Annie Droz used that cuts off B main and mid. Finally going down, but you see the perfect timing right there with the dog coming in to clear mid. But this is a vent split to A, and it's made obvious by Killjoy's location. You see Naomi actually just holding that A push, Dan, and she's just waiting for her moment to push.
Yes, I was going to say, C9 White are really playing this quite cautiously. They will be flashed back and away. Alexis will have to fall off of that position. Katsumi surely will get overwhelmed, but able to take one down just before that happens. So that's a good result there for C9 White. Alexis fighting over this B Heaven control, but forced back to the stairs once again. And This is getting quite chaotic, but it does look like CLG Red will have a spike plant coming through here. However, they are down a player. 3 versus 4 for them, trying to hold this site. It's only going to be quite difficult, but a lot of utility has already been expended by both teams, so this might come down to C9 White picking a good timing, coordinating themselves well. There's the satchel through for Jazzy to get closer here to try to combine this effort with her teammates as they push forwards. Rise able to defend very nicely. This crossfire between the back of the site and B main is looking quite good at the moment. Those nano swarms, I think they must have been destroyed here. Naomi's going to have to try to close the distance, but she can't get there in time. Mel defends, and C9 White pick up the pistol.
Oh, yeah, based on where Naomi was on that hit, I thought for sure it would come back to the A site. But I think the bait of when Benita flashes B heaven and the person jumps around the corner blind, it baited them into hitting this B site instead of sticking to their gut plan of going A. And it caused Naomi to be way, way out of the play. And that's when the retake comes in. And I just think she was never in a situation to really help her teammates out because of that mid-round adjustment. That's interesting. So C9 really playing well again in the mid-rounds. We've seen that throughout the entire event.
Yeah, definitely a team that puts a lot of focus on that. We heard Annie talking about how important VOD review is, and that mid-round decision-making can really be improved a lot by studying tape. And you can see here that we'll just have CLG trying to get any early edges that they can. They will actually grab the ultimate orb in B main, I believe. So, small win there. Chobo picking up that one on the raise. And other than that, it's going to be a group towards this A site, which it is a retake setup, but there's so much killjoy utility there by Mel. This could be rough.
And look at this Viper wall that she could fall behind with the alarm bot and mollies and the turret there. This is going to be so annoying for CLG Red if they hit the A site. They're taking the fight to heaven.
Yeah, this is really smart. They're actually going to pick up a frag because of that as well, so that's not too bad. The spike does hit the ground, though, as C9 do pick up all the kills with those Spectres, but it does feel like CLG Red really gave themselves the best chance to do some damage here, so can't be too disappointed with the result. As you say, the setup from C9 White, in terms of an anti-eco setup, I love that you highlighted the killjoy utility around the toxic screen and that otherwise it was a retake setup for A. Just C9 White really thinking so far into the future on these rounds.
Yeah, it's like it is indeed a retake setup because of that Viper wall, but it's also set up where Mel can hold the site and probably get 2 every time, so that the retake is always from a player up scenario. And I think they might be doing it again. Oh no, the Viper wall is actually moving, so Anidra is actually now in mid.
Oh, big fan of this, the dark cover and the aggressive B main take, Sean.
Yeah, and the difference between these two teams is that CLG has one controller. We mentioned that previously. The Viper wall is already up on this A site, so that kind of doesn't give you a lot of options to work with. I would expect them to hit the A site late, but maybe that Viper Poison Cloud is saved for B Heaven and they get a nice B split going.
And it's interesting as well because C9 White, it does look like they want to go aggressive with this B main push. Jazzy actually picks up the kill with the Spectre. That's huge, but they won't expect Rise. Almost going for the trigger discipline, but will take what is given, and Jazzy will get traded out. So, opportunities here. CLG reacting, pushing mid at the same time. They know there's an opening because of the action around B main and those positions, and they have themselves a huge advantage now. 4 versus 2 for CLG Red to get that spike planted on B, and meanwhile, the remainder of Cloud9 Whites rotating off A through ropes to see if they can find at least, well, with the element of surprise that they do have, an early pick here, but it's going to be really tough.
Spike planted.
And Benita looks like she's aware that the flank could come in. You can see her there in B main holding that. It looks like this round is going to be super difficult for C9 White to manage to win, but they definitely want to do some economic damage here.
Yeah, you're spot on. It is, of course, that bonus round. Those Spectres continued on. And actually, Mel finding a Phantom, I think, on the ground. So Mel will have an upgrade at least. So maybe now they're thinking about going for the save here into the next rounds. But great round for CLG Red, for sure.
Yeah. This round shows me that they've probably done their homework on Cloud9 White, particularly on Split. They waited throughout the entire map for the pushes, right? And they even put the wall up, like I said, in A, almost as bait. waiting for the B push at that point. They had this super passive crossfire. They gave up B main. They gave up A main. They kind of gave up mid too. It's not like they were aggressively taking male. They waited for C9 White to make the mistake in this round. And typically that's not a winning proposition. But on a bonus round where C9 White has to take some risks in order to win with those Spectres, that's a really, really experienced play by CLG Red.
And unfortunately for them, they did actually lose a couple of extra players, so that was a great play right at the end of the round by C9 White. And oh no, Chobo walks into the dark cover, and just some spray to prevent anyone doing that will actually get a kill on Chobo. So down early are CLG Red here in that 4v5. And what do you usually look to do in a position like this, Sean? Because, I mean, defaulting with a player down feels quite difficult.
Yeah, it's not even that they're a player down though, Dan. It's that they've lost B main control as well. So you could see Chobo's goal right there was to get B main control. So now Benita has to shift over to B to get this B main control with Rise. And it kind of shifted the whole team into just doing a B hit now. So they're just going to do a B hit, and hopefully Rise can get into the site for CLG Red, pop that ult, and kind of alleviate some of the pressure of the hit.
Yeah, that ultimate is a good focus point, but can they get across? It looks like Katsumi is going to drop Benita straight away. The Viper's Pit goes down, but just as quickly is taken out, leaving just Naomi left alive, stuck behind the dark cover in B main. And there's not a lot to be done, it would appear. Only able to get one kill, but with that said, at least there's an extra 2 kills collected, and there might be an opportunity for a spike plant here as well for some extra money for the team. Trying to bait out a peek, though. Naomi's looking to try to close this one down against 3 players. The ace clutch is not going to happen this time around, but it was a good effort. And Cloud9 will pick up their 3rd round.
Yeah, great effort there from Naomi. Even though she doesn't secure the round, obviously, from the 1-on-5 scenario, she takes out 2 and now has her ult built for this round. I don't know if they're going to opt to use it. I believe they should be able to buy into this round based on how many lived on the bonus round. Oof, no, that's brutal. CLG finds himself in such a bad scenario early in this game, potentially giving up the 4-1 lead to C9 White. This is going to be an eco.
We'll have to see if the Sheriffs can find any fortune here, as we'll have Claudia leading the way up mid. Chobo as well, the Beanball clearing out ropes. And the expected play in a lot of cases is a playing through mid into B main with the pistols, just because you have pretty much all close ranges until you get onto the site. And it's a very short distance as well. We see Claudia leading the charge here, and the flashes are pretty good. Allows an opening kill to be made by Claudia. And we'll have to see Jazzykins falling back, but Katsumi is so good on the support right now. It is just totally wiped out. There's that 4-1 you're talking about.
How is it that every time C9 White looks like they're about to lose one of these ecos, Katsumi comes up huge with some multi-frag? That looked really, really sketchy. I mean, we were watching from Annie Dro's perspective, then we switched to Jazzykins, and they were overwhelmed by breach utility. But the one player in the site knows to not, tunnel vision on B main, help out the B heaven position, and she stabilizes the round for the team. And here we have a CLG attack timeout. What do you think they need to do here, Dan? Do you think they go back to tried and true at mid, or do they need to just regroup?
Well, I think there's definitely an opportunity if they have it tactically for a B main retake setup, because, if they have been studying C9 White or understand that they have this favor towards B main control early, and obviously what they're doing is they're doing it for cheap. They're using a dark cover, which is a signature, so it's free, and then they're just spamming the dark cover to make sure that no one's crossing through. So that's really cheap control. And one of the things that's really actually very smart by C9 White, if you want to go deep with this, is that if CLG Red want to take that, they're going to have to invest way more just to retake that position. So from a utility exchange, C9 White are set up super well there, but I would at least like to see what would happen if CLG Red could make certain to win that position or buy rounds. But it looks like this round, there's a completely different focus from C9 White here, Sean, more so on mid.
Yeah, you can see the alarm bot is there for the B push. Viper is going to be holding the A push. And Breach is doing that fault line for actually A heaven that you were referring to. But if you look on the other side, Mel has an alarm bot up there, so C9 White has that covered. The Sky is capable of playing in vents. And this is going to be a mid collapse coming from C9 White. I am a bit scared for CLG Red.
C9 White are playing this so damn smart. Nice opening, though, coming through from Claudia, getting the entry frag there. Naomi following up onto Alexis, and Annie Dro now has to come up huge to try to get something done with this Phantom. Has some support from Katsumi as well, so doubling down on the B Heaven defense here, C9 White, but not looking good. Chobo winning the battle. Definitely a good feeling right now here for CLG Red as Annie Dro surely will get this kill. Chobo so weak. Even gets the headshot. Looks like CLG Red will finish things off on the A site. And I don't know what opportunities we'll see here for C9 White to get back in against 4 players. But there is some position between Screams and A Heaven. There goes Annie Dro. Finds an isolated fight. That's a good start here for C9 White. Looking for this retake. The flash comes through. Benita with the transfer tries to find the finish onto Mel, but it will be Rise to do it. And CLG pick up the round. And Sean, I thought that C9 had big brain CLG, conditioned them away from B main, and then doubled up on mid, but it didn't actually work out.
Tripled up on mid. They had the player in ropes and 2 top male right there. I think Claudia's dash into male to cut space past the Viper Poison Cloud. That was a game changer right there at mid. I mean, no pun intended. That was such a good dash by Claudia. I mean, for almost no reason. And now look at the ults built in this. This round is going to be wild, Dan.
Yes, absolutely. There goes the showstopper. We'll see Chobo making her way in, trying to find all of the damage, clearing out every single space, but there's nobody on the side. It's been totally given up here for C9 White, who have, as you said, so many ults to work off of. Most key, the showstopper and Mel's lockdown as well.
Do they push screens with the breach ult, Dan? I think they do. I think they push into this Killjoy ult.
There it is. There goes the breach ult straight into screens, trying to make it work here, but C9 White defending this push quite nicely. It's just Naomi who remains, and oh man, the lineups are good and everything, but there's 4 players left. That push failed. Naomi has so much to do. Oh, wow, okay. It's actually going to get one with that Nanoswarm, but it'll be a consolation frag. Oh, that's such a good idea.
It was a great idea. I don't know how Katsumi wasn't hit by the breach ult from Benita. I think maybe post-buff on patch 3.0, that works a lot better. I couldn't believe it when Katsumi turned that corner and wasn't stunned. And then Jazzykins ulting immediately as a counter. That was an incredible reaction from Cloud9 White, because I thought CLG Red had a great read on the situation. Oh, what a deflating round to lose. Losing all your ults.
And on top of that, the round didn't get contentious enough to convince C9 White to use any more of their ults. So now they still have 3 ults to fall back onto, and there's one of them. Annie Dro dropping her Viper's Pit on the A site, and it's always very interesting to see how teams will react to that. And that's a really oppressive Viper's toxic screen there in mid also.
And Mel has full B main control as well. You can see everything is relying on this mid hit from CLG Red.
And the flash comes through, but Jazzykins is ready, and the Seeker's coming out, but it doesn't seem to help too much. Alexis isolated as well, and it's an opportunity. It's looking quite grim, I have to say, for CLG Red, but now there's only one player on the B side. It's Mel, but Mel, of course, has a good angle. Good position, playing off the turret, but the timing is not great for Mel. She had to pop the Nano Swarms, turned away. Chobo takes full advantage. And now it's Katsumi and Annie Dro. I feel like CLG Red keep coming up huge in the most unexpected rounds. Looking to work on a flawless here. In great post-plant positions. Katsumi knows where one player is. Annie will be coming in from spawn, but now it is just Annie in spawn. Through process of elimination, I'm sure that CLG Red have a good understanding. Annie Dro is lurking around here. A flawless round will be pretty huge for CLG Red, considering how far behind they've been. And Benita's looking for it. There goes the fault line, and Annie got one just before going down. But still, great round from CLG Red.
Whoa, Benita. I think you got her. I'm just kidding. I love it, guys. I love it. That's the best part of watching the games, actually, is watching how they react when they win the rounds. But these mail takes from CLG Red have worked, I believe, all 3 times they've tried them on their buys. So I think they probably continue with the mid hits until Cloud9 White proves they can stop it, right? I am very impressed by these hits towards B Heaven, though.
Yeah, it's a saving grace. And Jazzy with the operator there will get fault lines. Waiting for the peak. I don't know that they're going to expect this angle. Jazzy should have an opportunity. There it is. Claudia goes down. That's a huge pick to get in a situation like this. Jazzy still staying alive in the corner here, though. Trying to keep that pressure on the damage. Could continue here as the paint shells go out. And there's the aftershock being sent through. A nice fadeaway from Jazzy. Stays alive despite the boombot going off in her face. And now it's the 3 versus 4. Still chances here for CLG Red, but difficult going into the mid-round.
How is she alive, Dan? She can't keep getting away with this.
That does seem a bit unfair.
Oh, if you look, Chobo has lurked her way into ropes. It looks like Jazzy's aware of it, but she has to watch 2 different angles at once here.
Yeah, Jazzy, another shot. The trade comes through at the least, but it's going to be very difficult with 30 seconds to go now. The spike is very close to being planted. Able to make the cross versus Annie safely, somewhat safely at least. But still, stuck on the side. 2 versus 3 for CLG Red here. Chobo knows she's got to get aggressive. Has to peel off some of these players before they are able to come closer. The paranoia is so dangerous. Chobo goes down, leaving it all to Naomi, playing the elbow position, and it's just not going to work out from a timing standpoint. As C9 White convert, but I mean, some damage done, and the spike plant will be helpful.
Wow. They dumped so much utility in the ropes position for Jazzykin's operator, and none of it worked out very well. The paint shells barely missed. The breach flash missed. The molly was too short. It went to the box. The breach aftershock, she ran away from, gets another pick. It was just very, very unfortunate sights watching CLG's mid take right there. I think everyone was aware of the ropes position, but they all thought a piece of utility would solve that problem, and it never did.
Yeah. And we'll see, a very fast push coming through, but the defense is looking quite strong. C9 White really having a sense of it, or at least they were very ready for that. And it was definitely a change of pace from CLG Red, so props to C9 White for defending that so well. Oh, looking like quite the cleanup here. C9 White don't seem to really have any weaknesses right now, and I mean, what do Naomi and Benita try to accomplish in this position?
Oh, just a nice little turret left there by Mel. Spots out Benita at a ramp. But C9 White isn't really doing much about that information, right? They still have this 5-on-2 advantage. They don't need to over-rotate, leave something open for Naomi to lurk. Oh, man, they just have everything prepared right now.
This operator is a really big problem, I have to say. What do you think that they should do in terms of an adjustment here, Sean?
Yeah, it's difficult because, like I said in the pregame, they have only one controller. They just have this Viper in play. So typically where you would have an Omen or even maybe a Brimstone, to drop a smoke in the ropes position, you don't have that in this comp. And you can see they have all these solutions like using breach flashes and aftershocks and paint shells, but none of them are truly perfect, right? None of them fully flush out the operator from those positions, and we saw that already. So I dislike them ignoring mid because of it, but that's what they're going for here.
And there comes a fast maneuver through B main. Katsumi with some good damage, actually. I think the necessary amount before going down. Oh, lockdown actually queued there. Anitra trying to slow down the plant attempt with that snake bite. And the Viper's pick comes through. It's a 3 versus 4, but there feels like a very good chance here for CLG Red to find a conversion in this round with the Viper's Pit. Claudia going close in the hell position. There's so much util. This showstopper is also ready for Jazzykins, and the boombot goes through as well.
It didn't see her. Claudia is here.
Oh no! The whisk come through from Claudia! And that is so unfortunate there for CLG Red. It leaves it to Ryze and Naomi against 3 players, although there's the Viper's Pit doing its work with the Stinger. But Naomi is going to have to hit 2 excellent shots. That said, Mel is pretty weak. Oh, she's getting healed up by the regrowth. She'll be able to take quite a few of those sheriff shots now as the pressure comes through. Naomi's going to have to peek and go forward into the double swing by C9 White. Oh, Claudia's going to be kicking herself for certain on that one.
Oh, man. When the Trailblazer goes right past her, the Boombot goes right past her, my eyes lit up. I thought for sure she was getting the double kill right there from under the heaven position. But nope, the whiff comes in, and C9 White, the retake comes in yet again. 8-3, last round of the half. Do they have any ults to work with, Dan? What are they working with here? Showstopper. Surely they go back into the heaven position, right? They go back into that B heaven split with the Showstopper leading the way. Maybe Claudia Blade Storm. Oof.
One of the difficulties is that there is a Showstopper on Jazzykins as well, so that could be a fantastic counter to regain the space that they could possibly lose, or even just try to blow this one up if they can find a timing. But Jazzy's actually sat there. There goes that Showstopper. Oh no! It's 3 players in. Well, what Jazzy's one of those 3, so we'll make it 2 against CLG Red. But the rest of CLG Red are getting decimated by the defense. It's just too disruptive. This ultimate advantage, and once again, Naomi's left in a rather difficult position alone. And man, just again, those ultimates really coming through, and it's very unfortunate, Sean, for them to not even get any value out of that take.
Yeah, that is just such a heads-up play from Jazzykins. Had the satchel on the ground, ready for the hit. The turret was inside ropes from Mel being first contact. Yikes. I mean, CLG Red, they went to their only thing that's worked for them all half, and Jazzykins just shut it down.
And there's that double peek. It's hard to beat that. C9 White, one of the best teams in the business here in terms of trying to make the right play in terms of positioning when you're like set up on angles like that. You know, you won't usually see any overextensions. Players will be like covering themselves, you know, in the right ways. The communication's really good on that. But yeah, the B main, or rather the B heaven play, as you said, Sean, that really seemed to be the saving grace that was keeping CLG Red in the running. But when that operator came out, that was a turning point.
I'd never asked you about this, Dan. How do you feel about the 9-3 half and the requirement of the pistol round in Valorant? Do you think this is a must-win pistol round right now for CLG Red?
I definitely do.
I do as well. I think 9-3. I think 9-3 is that limit, right? They've hit that limit where they need the pistol.
See if they can do it. Sides have switched, of course, meaning C9 White on the attack. CLG Red on the defense, and C9 White open things up with some mid-pressure here. They will actually bait out some util from the defenders. Getting rid of snake bites is definitely huge. Ooh, are we going to get a walk all the way through to a heaven here for the split?
Yeah, and there's no Killjoy utility to stop them over at this A site. It's just kind of like a three-person setup with a breach in the site. But it looks like Cloud9's going to seesaw into B here.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to fake that A push. They have lurks towards A as well, so they don't actually have to commit towards B.
Dan. Oh,
yeah,
no.
This is so smart. Oh my god, that was just genius. Oh my goodness. C9 White are just on another level right now. CLG, though, they can still make this work. Benita at the back of the site with the classic in hand, trying to find the shots, and those are some shots to find from Benita. Oh my god, Benita crushing the push onto the A site. I don't know how the classic can ever look like that. Benita, I'm getting that skin. What's the sends? What's the res?
Everything. I need everything. I need all of the settings because
download the whole package.
She might have gotten all headshots with that clip. She was destroying people across the map with a classic. Oh my.
Yeah, just all headshots, basically.
No bursting required. That was insane.
And that took the spotlight away from C9's amazing pistol. The way that they like use the audio cues and set up the double fake. Oh, that was so sick.
Wow, and that was Benita, one of the top performers of the entire event. Quiet in the first half, coming up huge to open the second half, Dan. I love that. Oh my gosh, we might get a game here.
Yes. CLG definitely need to be making sure that they stay safe on this anti-eco. This is definitely territory where, you know, the best the best teams can sometimes falter. You almost expect to win them, but you got to be really cautious. C9 West definitely a very good team in terms of getting the most out of rounds like this, but the Viper will definitely really helpful. Love the Aftershock there. Can't actually push off of that flash because of the Aftershock. And CLG, they're controlling the flow of players pretty effectively. I am respecting the Bulldog coming to play. I know Shazam would be proud. He is a staunch defender of the Bulldog's effectiveness.
I might have to join in after the latest buff, but the one we're watching right now, I'm not a fan, Dan. Not a fan of this one. Oh, so first gun round here from Cloud9 White. They will have a massive weapon advantage on this round. So how does CLG Red approach this bonus round? Are they going to push an extremity similar to Cloud9 White, or will they play passive in the sites? The breach fault line at B tells me Claudia is going in B main.
Yes, I love the fault line there on the opening. Get that early control. And you can see C9's response is to take that mid control. The spike is down towards mid sewers, so just trying to work that map control at the moment. And I love this. This is such a good way to start off on this map because they can really seesaw the defenders with all of this map control.
Man, that's crazy. They had such good solutions to deal with that Viper one way at the bottom of Mail. They timed the Boombot on the peak perfectly, and now they immediately have a Trailblazer going up to clear B Heaven, and that cleared all the way down the stairs. They've walked up.
Oh, and speaking of walking up, Annie Dro with the kill onto Chobo, and there it is. They have players placed everywhere. They're able to switch it up into the best option, which is now this A attack, but Naomi can... We see a performance like Benita, just not against the fans. Annie Dro! Oh my goodness. I think the trigger's getting sucked there, Sean.
I think she's must have been playing a lot of ulted KOs in ranked or something. Yeah, you have to kill the downed body. You have to thirst for it.
But this was perhaps an expected round to lose. You know, it's a bonus round, of course. But I think CLG Red perhaps would have wanted to get more value out of this. I think Annie got such a good timing on a ramp, and as you said, the mid push was really, really effective from C9. So first gun versus gun round, and this really feels like it could be very important, Sean. I mean, I feel like if CLG Red are not able to pick this one up, they're just going to be against... They're not going to have a spot where they're going to feel comfortable.
I couldn't agree more. And given the fact that we see Benita with that ult in ropes, I've seen it so many times where this breach ult clears mid. Is Cloud9 going to fall for this, though? They seem so well prepared for stuff like this. I'm curious if their spacing is poor.
Oh, Claudia, that's a huge pickup. And there goes the Rolling Thunder for the retake of mid. Claudia's following it through, going all the way, but there is a limit, and Claudia has reached it and will fall back. Pain shells to slow things down even further. I think that will chip a little bit onto Katsumi. And, I mean, the Rolling Thunder was invested. It's a minute to go. It's a 5 versus 4 in favor of CLG Red, so they're in a pretty good position here, Sean.
Yeah, they are. And I thought Jazzykins actually predicted the setup, and the frag that Claudia had to get on this 5-on-4 was huge. Is Chobo gonna win this one though against Annie Dro? This is everything, Dan.
I like the setup a lot, the off angle with the bot as well. But it looks like Annie Dro's been able to easily defuse that situation and has gained some ground here. Annie Dro's lurk with Viper has been very annoying, but in the meantime, the push comes through to the B site. The paranoia will affect Rise, and he's going to be heard on the flank. Chobo able to turn around and deal with that effectively. So now C9 White are in trouble. 20 seconds to plant this spike, and there is a lot of pressure coming in from CLG Red. And with that frag, Alexis is the last player standing. So nice headshot, but the trade comes through. And CLG Red only losing one player on their first full gun round on this defense. Definitely looks good for their prospects here on Split.
Very good awareness by Chobo right there to not fall into the lurk play from Annie Dro. That was massive in how this round played out. And also, I have to draw attention to how Rise was playing around that pillar at B, living and making, I believe, who was it? It was Katsumi peeking back sight into her. That peek is very difficult because you have to be aware that someone could be in rafters or down low at that moment. So very good use of her movement to get that one-on-one.
Yeah, most certainly. And it's going to be a switch here for C9 White. Just, I mean, of course, they are on pistols. They're using the numbers. Certainly a smart choice. And we've got a retake set up on A mostly here from CLG Red. So they definitely feel this possibility. They've got full mid control of CLG Red. So at this point, CLG know exactly what's happening.
Oh, there's alarm bots right here. The hit's going to be so fast, Dan.
Chobo's in a really forward position. Oh, this is great. The coverage from the toxic
dear.
screen. That's beautiful.
Oh, my. It's happening.
If they calm when to take it down effectively, that's going to be fantastic. But it's oh, that's actually an enemy wall, in fact. And it doesn't even matter because CLG are just defending nicely. Kasumi with the Spectre looking to see what she can get done here. Kasumi is a dangerous player, but it's going to be tough. There's one. Back against the wall now. 3 players coming. And that's going to be enough for Katsumi in this round. 7-10. CLG Red pick up the eco rounds, and they're not looking too far behind now.
No, and the way they're winning these rounds, quite nice. They have very good setups. They're using the Killjoy utility really well in a Heaven right now. Cool. I'm curious how Cloud9 White approaches this round. We haven't seen them use many ults so far on their attack half, so they'll likely have to bust out this one from Alexis. We might see a fake with Katsumi on this Omen ult. Those are some cool things to look out for here.
Yeah, and we have Mel on the lurk at the moment, and everybody else towards a ramp for early control, but the mid push indeed. And there goes the Seekers as well. Oh, the timing there. That's a free one for Mel. That's also the breach. Benita goes down. That's a huge kill to get on the defenders. And, oh, man. This is looking very bad for CLG Red. The Viper's Pit will get pulled out just to make sure. And I don't know if CLG Red even want to go for this one at this point, Sean.
Oh, that was the frag they needed right there. Hadro getting rebuffed again. Back to 100. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this has to just be like an exit frag hunt.
Looks like they want to make this as painful as possible. Actually, just trying to lurk around, seeing if they can get something crazy done here. Rise will take down Annie Dro. Now the last player standing, and that's the trade through from Alexis. So C9 White pick up their their second gun round, I think. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not CLG Red can fight back off of that one. I think it was very unfortunate that they lost Benita, but that said, with the Viper's Pit activated anyway, the breach utility is definitely going to be not as useful as that line of sight is blocked by the Viper's Pit.
Oh.
Ooh, the showstopper on Chobo here.
Rise is going into mid with this Viper ult. I want to see her just instantly pop in. And then I want to see the showstopper coming at Jazzykins. I want to see it coming. There it is. Okay. Jazzykins just needs to find one orb for this ult to play out.
C9 don't often try to directly challenge the Viper's Pit unless they have ample utility to do so. The Trailblazer will clear it initially, but it's so much distance. Viper can easily come back into that Viper's Pit, and you can see that C9 White have been shepherded into that B main position instead. And B is abandoned. It's a retake situation. Oh, that's a good pick to find. Annie Dro's lurk is gone now, and they know Annie is usually on the lurk, so that's a huge piece of info. The lockdown comes through, but again, there's nobody on the site really here. Oh, Jazzy did find the ult orb as well, so the showstopper is good there for the post plant.
Oh,
and there it goes. She's going for it. Everybody's running away, trying to avoid it. It's sent down to spawn, and it will catch absolutely nothing. Oh, here comes the reverse. Chobo picks up that showstopper, takes down Alexis, and Benita goes down here as C9 fight for the spawn control. That's a beautiful decision to go for. Katsumi with the wraparound, the pillar, and she can't quite make it work. The trades come through from CLG. That was madness, but CLG do manage to stay alive.
That was absolute insanity. What was going? That was so crazy because I thought CLG Red would ignore spawn, and that's eventually what happened. Rise actually ended up mauling spawn, and those players were trapped there. They couldn't come back into the site to stop the defuse. Great retake from CLG Red. Good use of the showstopper right there to open things up by Chobo. Wow, that was crazy.
So we'll see if CLG Red can keep it going. Mid-take comes through once more.
Love that. I love how the guiding light gets no info and immediately Rise mollies mid because she knows, you know, C9 is likely working up with that little piece of info. So then again, you see a Trailblazer. She immediately takes that out. So she's just trying to deny any information coming out of Cloud9 White. Get as much utility out of them before the hit happens.
The aftershock there is good as well. You know, also doing the same, sort of just denying any forward play to be made off of the boombot. Loving that counter utility as you're highlighting. And oh, okay. Annie Dro is very confident.
This lurk on A ramp, she throws the poison cloud over the wall, lurks along the backside of it, gets to heaven. Oh, finds Benita through the corner of the heaven box. That opens up the lurk for Mel. Both sites are being lost simultaneously.
It's a difficult situation. Oh, Mel goes down, but at the cost of Claudia's life, and they don't have the player numbers to be doing that. That's unfortunate for CLG Red, but C9 White looking like they're coming into their own at this round. 2 versus 3 after that pick against Annie. Maybe there's a chance of Chobo. Not expecting Jazzy to be so close. And Naomi now knows the position of Jazzy, but it's about winning the battle, and Jazzy all day as C9 White get themselves to 12. One more round to win the first map of this best of 5 series. This is, to remind you, if you're just joining us, a best of 5 grand finals here for VCT Game Changers 2.
Oh, Dan, do you have faith that CLG can bring this back? They got the Blade Storm on deck. Naomi has the lockdown. I think if they win this round, they can do it. But this is going to be such a difficult battle to win this one right here.
Yeah, you'd normally want to say, okay, if the Blade Storm can get an early pick, and there's a double updraft. Annie Dro's dodging it, just crouching behind, knows what's up here. The take comes through. Will they expect Annie Dro? They're actually pre-firing it, but Annie Dro will at least take down one. However, Claudia still alive. Naomi with that lockdown still alive. This forces a reaction from C9. They know that a heavy investment towards A means a weak B site. And Mel is creeping around the pillar as well, looking to see if she can find some space. The 1v1s, though, being won by CLG Red. They have a great scenario here for themselves. The 3 versus 2 at this point. Jazzy's low. Here comes the lurk from Rice around the pillar, and that Blaze Storm to finish it off. Well, Sean, I think that answers your question.
Wow. Those CLG players in the B site, worth their weight in gold. I don't know how they stopped that hit. They danced around and avoided all the fights, used the Killjoy utility on the ground perfectly. Rise swings and gets that frag B main. Kind of alleviates a lot of that push, right? It allowed her to pivot around the pillar, find one more. Very, very well done by Rise and Naomi to hold the B site. Oh my god. It's doable now. It's doable.
They're winning some pretty key rounds. And also the crazy thing too here is that if CLG Red are able to convert this round as well, then not only, I mean, they're actually moving into territory where they're going to have ultimate advantages, but also C9 will be on a save. So if they win this round, you know, they'll get to 10, and then they'll be in against an eco, they'll be in 11. And then we'll have an all-out gun round slugfest between both teams where unless something crazy happens, CLG Red will probably still have an ultimate advantage. So CLG Red are moving forward here with a definitive advantage. The question is whether or not they're able to actually convert that advantage.
Yeah, I think based on how C9 is moving before the tac timeout's called, it looks like they want to gravitate a little bit towards this A site, but this will likely just be a default where they take control in mid. Alexis has her ult. Last time she popped that, they just dominated the round. So that is something to be on the lookout for. Do they follow the ult with a guiding light? Creates tons of space. That's what happened last time.
Mel working control here towards A ramp. Oh dear, the turret will actually... I think it got a little bit of damage there. Yeah, that's annoying for Chobo. That said, Mel's luck is no longer really in play too much. Claudia, that's a great pick. The Rolling Thunder coming through as well. Benita pushing it all the way through B main. And this is causing a response here from C9 to go fast into this A hit right now, this A split. But they can't go fast because the util is there. It's ready.
Oh, this is a big one. Claudia has had 2 massive openings this round. That leaves her in a 3-on-5, and they have to go right into Chobo and Rise's setup now. Zero map control. Look at Benita. She's way in their spawn.
Such good timing here from Naomi as well. Good reaction onto Jazzy. And it looks like that's about to be it here in this round for C9 White. And we talked about this scenario. Ooh, that wasn't even an ADS. That's just a clean burst. What is this, 1.6?
I really feel like my Bulldog is different. It's not constructed with the right tools or something.
Yeah, got a shoddy knockoff.
Yeah.
Well, it's eco time, Sean. It's eco time for C9 White. CLG Red with a solid chance at that 12-12 overtime scenario to run it back.
It's happening. That GIF. I feel it. Hello. This could happen. Jazzykins with the showstopper on deck. That is the only thing Cloud9 White has going for them this round. I mean, this is no longer the Stinger meta. Those guns are going to have a hard time opening up this round, but she's going to be entering the A site. I like Ryze's lurk position behind flower pots, though. Okay, I don't like this. I don't like this, Dan.
Uh-oh. Ooh. That sentry turret might kind of cue Ryze to think, okay, this is Mel lurking because she's done it so many times before, but there goes that showstopper from Jazzy up into A Heaven. Looking to see what she can find. Nothing so far. It's just completely barren up here on the A Heaven position. And it gets sent through the screens. Will whiff Chobo. Wrapping around. Oh, there's that stinger, though. Better than the Phantom, of course. And now Jazzy's got control of Elbow. The spike's being planted. We might have to see a big dump here of CLG Red's ultimates. I'm sure they didn't want to do it, but here it is. We'll see that lockdown coming through. In fact, it's coming from Mel. And there's the response. The defender, Killjoy ult.
Break it.
Oh, no.
That's a great fault line, though. Wait.
Alexis lurking up through A Heaven here as well. She could find a really insane timing as the push comes through screens. Oh, the time is really a big problem here. There goes the breach flashes to try to get a push through. Benita wins that 1v1. Jazzy is going to get backstabbed there by the remainder of CLG. There is just enough time to make this one happen, but man, Sean, they did not want to burn those ults. They definitely did not want to burn Naomi's lockdown there.
Yeah, I forgot how to breathe when the first Stinger frag came in, Dan. I know you were so happy about it. I was feeling the pain of losing a game against an eco rush, right? Oh man, I can't believe it. Even after Benita gets hit with the lockdown, she comes up huge, getting that Heaven frag. Naomi holds it down in spawn. I loved all the little things, though, we saw that round. Jazzykins popping the ult, going into Heaven, saving the paint shells for the counter lockdown. Like, they're like 8 steps ahead. That's insane.
Sean, this is the first time Claudia's bringing out the operator, I think. In a very pivotal round. There's the Viper's Pit, too, on the defense. Both teams pretty even on the ults, but in fact, on the B main position so far, they're actually playing reactively with Claudia's operator.
Yeah, you've said it before. Cloud9 White doesn't like going into this Viper Pit, and mid is such a pivotal area of split, obviously. So Annie Dro's lurk is probably the entire match right now. Going back
Now
into
might
the
walk
lurk.
into it. Oh, this would be a really big kill to get. Mel's waiting for sound cues to maybe feel like an open B site. She's looking for it to be clear to walk through.
I think she's waiting for presence from Annie Dro at A Heaven.
A 1-for-1 there from Cho, but that's not the worst. But there it is. Claudia was so patient. Picks up the lurk from Mel through B main. They just know C9 White too well. Oh, but the satchel play from Jazzy. What an entry. That's going to keep C9 White in this round. There's the Viper's Pit. And that is a huge advantage now to defend this site. This will be very difficult for CLG Red to get back in.
How on earth do they manage to get past this Viper's Pit, Dan?
Oh, double snakebite available. Boombot available as well on the post plant. Here comes a clear from CLG Red using that aftershock, trying to get their way through. Jazzy, though, it's looking so good right now for C9 White to close out the first map. It's just Benita left, and she's going to go down to Katsumi. C9 White pick up the first map of this best of 5 series very narrowly. That was so close.
Man, that was so close. We mentioned the lurk from Mel. Claudia actually takes her out. They get in the 4-on-3 scenario. But once Annie pops that ult on the site, oh my god, we saw it actually earlier in the game. C9 White just used their ults so perfectly throughout this entire game. And that's nothing against CLG Red. They played a great game themselves. What a map.
It's crazy too, because we talked about maybe going into that last or the round to get overtime, maybe with CLG Red having a slight advantage on the ultimates, having the lockdown available, but it had to get burned because that anti-eco went so poorly. And with that lockdown, that could have made a huge difference in the retake there. So it's crazy how this game comes down to the little things. But CLG Red, looking good, even though they lost that first map, and maybe that's one of the most important maps in this series for them, still looking really good going into this best of 5.
Yeah, in particular, Claudia and Benita came up really big in the second half. I thought they were slightly quiet in that opening half. Could have been just a tack side split. So watching them as the series progresses, do they take that confidence into the second map? Because they're really, really going to need it. I think the second map's Ascent. Oof. They're going to need their star players to come up big here.
Yes, you said it. Ascent is coming up right after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Blocking vision.
Hello and welcome to your favorite part of the day, your reminder about this fantastic Secret Lab giveaway that is available right now. So you want to be heading on over to the website to enter in for your chance to win this award-winning seat and the choice of the world's biggest esports tournaments. So that's going to be that dig.link/secretlab to enter. So good luck. Also make sure to follow Secret Lab on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Right there, that stealth right here, that's what I'm sitting in right here. It is so comfy. It's fantastic, and you need it in your life. Absolutely. So we just saw some fantastic gameplay from CLG versus C9 White right there, guys. I was like this, I'm like, I don't know. Sean, start us off. I don't even know. There were just so many integral moments there. Let's talk about just maybe where CLG just slipped barely. Why couldn't they get to the dub?
I think they just struggled in the early parts of this game. Maybe they weren't warmed up on an individual level, and this is the problem when you don't have, the super strategic tactics to fall back on, like Cloud9. Cloud9 can enter these games in their B form, right? Because they are so layered with utility that they don't need to hit crazy shots. Whereas it took CLG several rounds, in my eyes, to come into this game. But once they did, they were right there with Cloud9 White, but they couldn't overcome the hurdle that they had given themselves from earlier on in this game. Did you feel like they also kind of struggled in that opening, or where do you feel like CLG lost this game?
Yeah, I think for me as well, it was also just that they got off to such a slow start. There was definitely opportunities for them, and I think that the difficulty against C9 White is that they are really consistent. And so you do get punished for any inconsistency in your own gameplay. And starting off 3-9 is obviously always going to be a tough one. And a few of those key rounds were lost just whiffing some shots. There was one round in particular, for example, where we saw Claudia, for example, who had massive impact and did a really good job across the map as a whole. But there's some of those inconsistencies and just those spots that were really unfortunate, like that one spot on Hell, for example. And not to in any sense call her out, that kind of thing happens. But that's the kind of difference that it can make here in a match like this. And they were so close to beating C9 White that you actually don't want to, or at least I don't want to, kind of harp on about their missing opportunities too much, because I feel like they did a really good job adjusting to what C9 White was doing. And C9 White was trying to condition them as well, and trying to play off of that conditioning. And it didn't seem to affect CLG Red too much, which to me is a really good sign going forward. So for as many things as I could say that there was a slow start and be nitpicky with CLG Red, I was overall very impressed with how they dealt with the kind of breadth of the gameplay that C9 White offers.
Yeah, and bringing it back in the second half, my goodness. This is the grand finals, right? This is the kind of action we want to be seeing. So that's map number 1, down, split, off the chopping block. Let's see where we're going to next. That's going to be on Ascent. And Sean, you were talking about how this was a pretty strong map for C9.
Yeah, earlier on when we watched them play Ascent, Jazzy's on that Sage, and Alexis, I believe, was on Phoenix. And their control over A main with those two agents was S tier. They did such a good job. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to counter, but for a team like CLG Red, who doesn't have as much success on Ascent, it's a huge hurdle, right? Because it's not just stopping the A main aggression, it's then, do you have the utility to do the site hit afterwards? Do you have the full map control to not run into a stacked site at that point? And that's why I'm a little bit worried right now for CLG Red, is they haven't proven to me on Ascent that they have those things.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I think one of the things too that C9 White having a huge advantage over CLG Red, especially on a map like Ascent, is just having the reps in. I think there's so many games that C9 White have played on this map in competition, and they were talking about it in the interview. I'm not sure which C9 White player was making this point, but just saying how different it is having that competition experience. And from that perspective alone, there's a really huge advantage here that C9 White has. And CLG Red only has 2 recorded maps on Ascent on VLR.gg, so that's difficult. However, I do always think that there is something to be said for being able to prepare for your opponent. We also saw in the C9 White interview that Annie Dro was like, we don't even watch any of the other teams. We're just playing our own game. So there can be blind spots with an approach like that, where they are just focusing on their own game, which could be abused and exploited by CLG Red. So if they've done the work to kind of tailor make some responses to what they've seen in the previous Ascent matches that C9 White have shown them, that to me is one of the best ways that they can get an opening into this game.
Well, I mean, C9 saying they don't watch any footage. I don't know. I'm not sure just how much that is true, but nonetheless, they are amazing. They are astounding. And so, of course, they are going to be coming here to play their game. Let's hit it over to map number 2 on Ascent. Guys, it's the SIG Agent Selects.
Oh, Dan, what do you want to see right now? What do you want to see? You've mentioned it. CLG has only played this twice. Their last game, they lost 13-1. What do you want to see out of their comp right now?
I was going to say Reyna Jet. I was going to say, and I see Benita hovering over the Reyna there.
I want it too. I want it too. I want the Reyna Jet. I feel like you have to play that disruptive style if you're just not. Oh no.
Yeah, they're going with the Sova instead. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, at least Claudia's on the Jet, which is definitely something that feels like a must. And I think this, I mean, obviously one of the things here as well is that Claudia's is standing in, and they wouldn't normally have a Jet in the mix here. They'd be working arrays. So I'm curious how that's going to impact things for them, because Jet and Rays, despite both being duelists, are of course quite different in the ways that you might want to use them.
Yeah, I love the Claudia on Jet as the potential difference maker in this game. I'm not too big of a fan of trying to mimic the comp. It's not really too big of a mimic because one has an Astra, one has an Omen. But other than that, there's not a lot of differences here. And I think, if you're trying to soup up a Toyota Camry to beat this Ferrari in a race, you're going to have a hard time, right? you need to get another really fast car to go against it. So, oh man. Claudia's going to have to be really, really impactful on this Jet in my eyes to win this game. She's going to have tons of success. And I think we're going to have to see her use the AWP a lot more than what we just saw in Split.
Yeah, I was actually somewhat surprised that we didn't see it come into play more. Only on that, I think, the 23rd round or something like that. So we'll see now whether or not CLG can find a different formula, some success on a map like Ascent. Again, they don't have many reps on in competition, versus a team that's quite experienced. We've already cast C9 White on this map in this tournament, so you and I should have some idea of what to expect as we watch C9 White on this attack.
Wait a second. Did someone drop Alexis that frenzy? Are they about to have some build? That's a big opening find right there from CLG, and they're going to keep pushing through, Dan.
Oh, I love it. And I love the fact that there's a Sheriff in play there on Benita on the Sova. Fantastic stuff. Get the wall across spawn to cover the push through spawn, through mid, into A. I love this from C9, working their way across. And now, falls to Naomi, who's in this hell position. There goes the flash to drop down. And, can't quite find the damage, Naomi, that she's looking for. And Annie Dro with that classic will defend as well against the tree position. So looking like a great recovery here. This movement from C9 White. Claudia, we've said her name so much. And we'll have to be saying it again here if they are to have any success in this retake, CLG.
Here.
This is such a hard crossfire to break.
Trying to find a way to do it, but it's not going to happen. So, C9, they pick up the pistol.
That was insane, Dan. And this is what I was talking about by having such a difficult time beating a team that is just fundamentally better than you on a given map. It looked like this was designed to be a mid-B split, right? That's why they had the Sage in B main. But once that B player died, I'm not sure if that's an on-the-fly call to do the Phoenix Firewall over spawn, go into A heaven like that. But wow, if that was on the fly, the way Alexis used that curveball to flash below hell was next level. That was fantastic use of her kit that round.
Yeah, totally agree. The firewall was such a nice touch, and Chobo able to get an early kill, actually. This is quite cool to see. You know, we didn't mention that, you know, the force buy coming through here. Really interesting move on the defense as well, Sean, to actually go for the force buy. Flash through from Alexis.
It almost smells of desperation, but this is a very good early round opening from CLG. Oh!
Yes, that's stunning as well from Naomi. They are denying C9 White the entry through the choke point, actually. C9 White already tried to move through that choke point twice now. The first time they got pushed back by Util. The second time, I mean, it's just a straight headshot coming through with a Sheriff from Naomi. So this is not plan A or B right now for C9 White. They are on plan C at this point. This round with the spike loss, as you can see. This is a tough one. Going to make their way through, though. Give it an attempt to try to get that recovery going. But this is looking fantastic. My God, have you ever seen a second round defender force buy on Ascent look this good, Sean?
This is looking really, really good, obviously, for CLG Red. Winning a round that convincingly on an eco is so massive in this game. And the way they're doing it in B main by playing so aggressive has to put some fear in you if you're on Cloud9 White, right? You're going to have to start expending a little bit more resources. You're now playing a game that's different than the one you drew up. And 2 rounds in, this is, you know, the best case possible if you're a CLG Red fan.
Revealing area.
So now the question is if they're able to follow up with the clean rounds. We don't have a huge investment coming through from C9 Whites. Taking that A main control can get that orb at least. You can see they are farming the run it back on Alexis. Always a good choice. Claudia fancying her chances in mid with a Spectre. I respect it.
Versus these Sheriffs? Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dan. Playing with fire
It does
here.
feel like a disaster, doesn't it? Yeah. It's waiting to happen.
Oh!
Oh my God.
I hate Jet! That was so cool that Claudia lives in that scenario. The cat hit comes in. Oh my goodness, they're
Ooh.
so aggro at B.
Oh, Katsumi, please. That Sheriff looking very dangerous. Bulldog coming through there from Benita once again. Again, seeing that it is somewhat of a favorite pick for her. And Annie picks up a kill as well. This is a very messy round here now for CLG Red. You really need this to be clean.
Oh dear.
Oh no, it's going very wrong. And that's Alexis finishing it off. And that's Cloud9 with the thrifty. Oh, well, Sean, you know what happens now. Force buy right back.
Yeah, RCS brains do love to think that way. Is your eco just can't die from that round. You just have to keep buying back, right? Until you lose 2 straight. Yeah, yeah, I think that is what happens here. CLG has too many CS players to just go down like this. We're gonna go back and forth with the buys, aren't we?
Oh no, it's just a measly half buy. Fair enough. Fair enough. Man, yeah, we'll come back to maybe that last round in a bit, perhaps. We'll get an aggression from Chobo on A main, and B main is also being pressured by C9Y, so they're in a great position. You really want to try to get those Sheriff kills early if you can, but you can see that C9Y are doing a good job at preventing that from being possible.
CLG Red is stacking the correct site though here. Is the run it back going to come in with this Sage wall? It is.
And they're going to hear the sound cues here, so they know what's going on. The swings come through, and it's not enough damage being done here by CLG Red ultimately. C9 looking pretty good. And, you know, C9, very disciplined team, looking to really squeeze out as much value as possible and not looking to risk any lives where they don't need to be risked. And you can see Mel's just sitting in the... Just making it as easy as possible for herself. Finds the timing, gets both, and that's only one player down. That's a great result.
Yes, C9 White looks to potentially run away with this half. I can tell how they're playing this right now, that their goal is to farm these orbs on Alexis. She's going to have to run it back at least 3 times this half. We just saw the first. We're going to see a couple more without a doubt. She's going to get this orb at A main. This is going to be this is potentially like a 1-on-4 at A. I think they might run it down.
Droning first, of course, getting that information. There's the wall in response. Destroying the drone. That's a great trade, actually. The wall is really annoying. See, Anidro is working on that one. That's going to prevent any fast plays. And so far, you know, only Annie's been showing herself. Okay, now they're going to hit the Phantom as well, so you know at least 2 players are there.
A lockdown on Mel is going to be big. And that slow looks like it's going towards Jen. Right where the Sage is standing. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a hard hold. But the Jet in heaven with the operator, Claudia, has to come up big. She has to get a kill here.
Oh, and that one missed. The question is whether there'll be anything to deny vision here for Claudia, if she'll get the chance or not. Oh, there's the whip. That's so unfortunate. Can't really repeat that. There's so many slow orbs going down. That said, there's no entry to the site just yet. Oh, but the finish from Annie Dro. Oh, really good stuff from Annie Dro. Just barely missing the second one as the updraft comes in to dodge it from Claudia. It's looking very difficult, but Claudia goes in once again with the operator. Can't quite seem to find the opportunities that she's looking for. The spike's going to get planted here, and at this point, it's looking very scary right now for CLG Red. Lots of value in their hands, and you're starting to think, do we commit it in? And they are going to say no. They're going to keep all the money that they have and try to bring it to the next round.
I don't think Cloud9 White's going to just allow them to save these 3 weapons, Dan. I think there might be a bit of a hunt going on this round. So normally teams respect the save in Valorant because you can hunt, die, lose ult orbs and things like that. Not only do you lose your weapon, you provide the other team with ult orbs if they frag you. So it's a lot more punishing to hunt frags. But in this scenario, we're going to see a ridiculous hunt for these 3 players.
Yeah, it's almost like playing a post-plant now for the defenders. Ooh, Claudia not able to connect there. So close. Claudia finally, though, able to take down Jazzy, but they're all going to go down, just as you said, Sean, and only 1 player fell there for CLG, rather for C9 in all of that. So that's definitely C9 looking very confident now.
Oh, nightmare fuel, Dan. Nightmare fuel right now for CLG Red.
Yeah.
Losing all their money. They have all these ults to work with, but I mean, they're really no good on a round like this unless you can open it up with a frag. So you can see Naomi has a sheriff right now in this timeout. Maybe they'll invest a little bit more. But in order for them to find use out of these ults, like I said, they're going to need an opening. So whether that be from Claudia's Blade Storm or the sheriff's. Otherwise, we're looking at a 5-1 scoreline. Yeah, Cloud9 is really running away with things right now.
Yeah. And it's very difficult too because a team like C9 White, they are quite good at knowing, you know, what is the one way that our opponents can get back into this round? Like, what is the one way that we can throw away our advantage or our ability to win this round? And that would be to give up a kill. Like, if there's a Blade Storm that comes through, it's playing aggressively into it, or it's playing specific angles where the Blade Storm's going to be able to, you know, get to you for a good trade, because you're going to be taking big risks in this round. But the defenders, in this case, C9, they can definitely prevent those risks from even being taken if they're just not in the positions in the first place. So, you know, we're going to hear that Blade Storm initiated. So I'd expect C9 to find ways to safely deal with this.
And Claudia lurking her way into wine right now. I don't think Annie Dro's drone stands any shot of getting to her right now, especially with the Sage baiting. Oh!
Oh my god.
The classic of all people finds the opening, Dan.
The classic. Benita's classic is something, there's something going on there. That is very strong in her hands. 4 versus 4, and this is how you win rounds like this.
Yeah.
If you're on the back foot, if you're on the ecos, you get the early kill.
And they took the smokes out of the round, but the res comes in. That's still that's a win on a round like this, getting the res out.
Very true. And there's still a lockdown for Naomi. There's the Bladestorm that's in play. Chobo, you know, a kill, and that's a res available. But the unfortunate thing for CLG Red at this point is that they don't have position to defend the speed site, which it looks like is where CLG or C9 White is going. However, C9 White going back into mid, they don't have much time here to plant.
Oh, they're going to go into the teeth of the setup, Dan. Oh, this is scary. This is real scary for Cloud9 White.
And there's the Ice Orb, and they have to commit. There's another Ice Orb from Chobo, hanging onto those Ice Orbs for so long. Only one player onto the side. Claudia needs to try to find a way to connect these blades, but unfortunately the flash comes through. Claudia's still looking to find the connections, just peppering from behind, not finding the damage needed. And now it's just Rise against 4 players. C9 have dodged a bullet.
Oh my goodness. Look at the accidental curveball blind on the Jet Bladestorm wins the round. Because you just have to realize she refreshes her blades if she gets that frag on Phoenix. It was a free frag. Alexis was in middle of the open, but the accidental curveball blinds her. She loses 2 of the blades. The next frag is half hidden behind the gen wall. Oh, that was a catastrophic occurrence of events right there for CLG. Wow, that's so unlucky.
That's heartbreak for sure, and we'll see what can be done here from CLG Red's point of view, and they'll be back on a buy operator for Claudia. It's the second time. Paranoid comes through. Here comes the take on A main from CLG. They know one's in the corner. They'll take both players down. Brilliant stuff there, but still, Alexis is still there. I don't know if they're aware of Alexis's presence. Alexis will try and use those sound cues to her advantage.
Very good timing.
Might be able to catch one off guard, but Chobo is ready for that one.
And that's because of this wall right here, Dan. They don't even need to look at Cat until that wall's broken. The structure of the Sage wall conveys into your mini-map if your Sage puts it down, so they know no one can be up Cat in this time frame. And they're just tunnel visioned on that peak.
I just love to see it. It's so important that teams have good takes and retakes on A main and B main, especially on the defense. You need to know how to retake for as little utility as possible, but we'll see what C9 can do here because Jazzy's lurked up into a pretty deep position. Chobo, though, not missing a beat this round.
Yeah, Chobo had a fantastic round here. So much awareness.
Claudia's going to finish it off. And that will be the second round for CLG Red. So they're still in a pretty good position to have a decent half here, despite how troublesome some of these early rounds have been. And
yeah, that was a Secret Lab flawless right there, too. So their economy and ult orbs build really, really well with a round like that. That's exactly what you need if you're struggling on the defensive half of Ascent. You need something like this to build up your economy. You need to get the op back in play on Claudia, and that's what they have. So let's see if she can find some success here at A main at the start of the round.
pressure to B main is the start here for C9.
Hell is opping this, Dan?
That's scary because you don't expect to run into this, and if it's just a jiggle and Mel's quick, that's a very dead Sage. Not challenging the angle, though.
This is crazy. I think they're waiting for Chobo's contact in this off angle. Omen throws a blind. They push.
Oh, the punish is huge. Just as you said, waiting for that sound cue. Paranoia comes through. The Paranoia was previously, of course, on the A main side of the map. So early advantage is being taken around the extremities. This might actually force C9 to go a bit faster in some of these following rounds. And Claudia, she's going to be finding Jazzy just walking up. Great dodge coming through there from Katsumi, but still 2 versus 5 for C9. Claudia doing Jet things. That's how you play Jet. Very well done.
Massive.
Oh, you love to see it.
Back-to-back Secret Lab flawless rounds coming out of CLG Red. They're in full control of the game all of a sudden. They have so many ults built up. Their economy is now probably out of control. They can definitely make a rally here and end this half with a positive scoreline.
So, Sean, what we've seen in terms of success early round for CLG Red is retake A main, retake B main. What are we going to see here from C9 to get ahead of that?
Well, Mel has this lockdown. She's hovering around this A site. The turret is very, very passive. That leads me to believe that she's going to help her team control mid. I I think this B main pressure that CLG has had all half is fantastic. And that, you can tell it's making Jazzy play very passively.
And so there we go. That pressure coming through mid. Claudia still in position, but she's had to gradually fall back, and the drone's going to allow them to maybe gain some space, but that's going to also definitely let them know where Katsumi's standing. Claudia still with that dash. Oh, I thought that was a... Oh, it's so close. Katsumi trying to walk through to punish. Dangerous business here in mid for Katsumi. Sitting in the smoke.
And if you look at this, the looks that CLG Red has given, they had no pressure on A main. Before they had a Sage, then they had an Opper. It's so hard to read if you're Cloud9 White. This ult in mid is going to free up a lot of this position that they think the op is in, but it's really not getting them much on this round.
Yeah, it's going to be a B split off the back of that. Benita's in a good position, is backside with Chobo, and they're in a good spot. The paranoia comes through as well. The peak from Rise is beautiful. 3 kills, almost a quad. It's down to Claudia. She'll light up Mel, and there's not much left for Anidro to actually do here. 1 versus 4 with no time. Oh, that's a little bit scary. The gun barrel is showing, but still, it's looking very difficult for Anidro. Jumping classic. That's a little bit labored, but it happens. We get there in the end.
Wow, what a reaction from CLG Red. It's like, maybe this is a strat they recognize that C9 White has run before. But when that lockdown expired, you could see Benita backpedaling towards the back of B, and she just immediately casted a blind ult towards both B main and the connector position. I was worried that C9 White would scale on them, but the Omen blind coming in from Rise in CT spawn is what saved the round in my eyes. Like, that was so well timed with Benita's ult to hold down the B site. Claudia with a great rotate as well. CLG looks like a totally different team these last 3 rounds. This is so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, and it's also the fact that we're seeing C9 in a position where they had all that mid control, and they go into that lockdown, but the fact that CLG Red were playing so well around the mid control, because the mid control feels very oppressive when you're on the defender side, and you feel very much like you have to get info in certain places. But like you said, you know, CLG still looked like they were in control. They were even able to make a play off of that. The fact that they didn't have very much position and they didn't have very much info. Like you said, they just knew what was happening. So that is a very exciting prospect as we continue here. CLG Red only need to win this one more round to break the bank, I believe.
Yeah, finally they've cut into C9 White's economy. You can see this is the last buy that C9 White has in them before they'll have to save. So big round here.
And lots of ults available for CLG Red too. They've really been building those with all those flawlesses, like you were saying. And Claudia going out deep in mid. This is Jet things. You don't expect to see the Jet here. Will get tagged by the turret. There has to fall back. Unfortunate though for Claudia. Oh, the catch from Mel onto Rise. That's a big one. The res is available for Chobo though, and I'm sure C9 are aware of this. Droning to try to help cover for that.
Wow,
a drone in a res.
Risky res. That worked so well.
So forward ground here in mid and catwalk. The spike looking to be picked up by Mel as she rotates from the B side. It's going to be an A split.
Indeed it is. And Naomi is playing this catwalk position with a lockdown. So finding a frag on her would be instrumental for this A hit.
The paranoia is ready still, but can't really use it due to the utility coming in from Cloud9 so far. It's going to have to be used on the retake instead, as opposed to preventing the plant from happening.
How do
All
they do
goes
with
up
this
to slow
lockdown?
it down.
They're going to have to push into it. They're breaking the door. They're ready to push into it, man.
There they go. Here's the defense. Oh, there's so much happening here around the tree position. Naomi with the initial defense, but Cloud9 looking fantastic. Mel able to deal the lockdown just in time, but the trade comes through. Chobo forced to already use that res earlier in the round. Is going to be up against Alexis in the 1v1. No idea where Alexis is. The timing is everything here. Alexis gets off the site. Chobo with the drop down onto site. Alexis now knows. Chobo still thinks that Alexis was on the site. This is so dangerous right now for Chobo. Has to start running. Time is a huge problem here. Alexis could be absolutely anywhere. And there goes to run it back. Chobo has to come off, has to get the frag, has to stick the defuse, but Alexis nails the headshot. And that's C9 with the round.
Wow. Wow. I got a little worried for Alexis when she used the run it back right there because I'm not sure. I'm fairly certain if Chopo gets that frag on her after getting half, she can stick the rest.
Yes.
Yeah. That was, I mean, it seemed like potentially the round was over because of the run it back clone, but once Chobo got half, I actually think that was the play to win the round. Oh, what an insane occurrence, though, for them to push Tree right there and win those battles.
Yeah, that was really, really awesome to see. And, you know, that's C9 picking up that 6th round, so it's looking to come back into this one. That was the round that would have really broken their economy, so their backs were really against the wall. Mel was a juggernaut moving through Tree there, really saved the day. Oh, Katsumi holding the flank there. Oh my god, the timing! Pulling out the stars, going into astral form. That's very unfortunate.
That's their smokes again, Dan. They have no door smoke. They've got no heaven smoke. No gravity wells.
They're in a lot of trouble for sure. Claudia, see, there's just nothing that they can do to deny Claudia on that position. Oh, Claudia connecting. Nice flick from Benita as well. Great timings, great opening kills there. I mean, C9 were trying to switch up the pace by just going for a straight hit.
Yeah, I can respect it. The B pressure, though, it has been coming through so frequently that it's annoying because, like you said, they wanted to go straight into this A hit, but they're going into a Sage. It's not that easy. You can't just run it down, right? You have to wait out the wall, the slows, she breaks the drone. And by the time that you do all of those things, the player that pushed through B is in your spawn, which is what Rise did. Wow.
Love this. The B main aggression, sorry, as the drone leads the way. You don't know what's behind it. In comes Naomi, and there you go. The play has been revealed. The hand is shown. And it's come up aces here for CLG Red. Of course, they are playing against an eco. Took them a long time to get to this. In fact, well, it's not an eco, it's a force buy, but they just don't have any money.
Oh,
so
this timing, the timing.
Oh! Claudia able to trade it out, though. So there's that. And they have to go quite deep to recover the weapon here. Alexis, with the flash, able to get away with that Phantom. Mel, she always finds good timings, but Claudia is wise to this. Annie Dro also spots the barrel of the gun. It's a tease. It's a tease. And it's going to be the full connection there for Annie. They are just feeding into CLG at this point. 6-6, the end of the first half. CLG, I got to say, I am impressed with how well they performed this half.
Would you say they won that 6-6 half, Dan?
You know what? I would say that they did.
I would say they did too. 6-6, they won the half. I think we have a game. They have all the momentum rolling with them, and this is something that took a long time to see on Split. But with that said, a team that doesn't really play a map very often, they'll struggle a lot more on the attack half than the defensive half. So even though they did a lot of things really, really well right there, I have to see some things to be a believer that they can close out this game.
Yep, absolutely. And it really just changes a lot when you switch halves as well. The attacking side is definitely a different story. Either way, we'll see how things go off of the pistol. I'm hoping to see Benita clap some faces with the classic again. That was amazing.
Ooh, droning through mid, but this looks like a cat hit. And we've seen Alexis lock down cat in previous games. Oh, that timing is filthy.
That's really looking very good for Alexis. Katsumi will finish off Naomi, so very damaging here for CLG Red. They're not really winning the position out of this either, so this is a great look right now for C9. You can see Mel's just waiting for the timing. She doesn't have to overextend on this one. And it looks like CLG are committing all the way in. Chobo eventually will find that frag onto Jazzy, but it's looking still very difficult, very labored. The spike, though, looks like they're going to find a plant. There is still hope alive in the round here for CLG Red, but players are coming in pretty rapidly. Oh, Benito with that classic once again finds the back of Alexis, but the numbers game is too great for Cloud9, who will end up taking this pistol and starting off their defense nicely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Alexis sees on her screen that's different than mine, but that timing on the Molly catwalk was god tier. That was so well timed. It forces the attack in front of it. They eat a curveball. She drains the dash out of Claudia. There's so many things that she did really well without having impact frag-wise that round. Turret out. And then you have Jazzy closing the door, then only to break it down again. They just made that round impossible for Cloud9 Red. Just solely based on weird utility use, closing the door. It's just standard C9 white things.
Yeah, it really is. Stuff that we come to expect. And I can't wait to see some of their defensive setups. We really reveled in them when we saw them playing a couple days ago, when we got to cast them.
Look at this. The turret makes contact. The shock dart comes in. Boom. That's going to hurt those guys a lot. There it is. Gravity well on the ground. Another shock dart. Make it stop, Dan. These are just saving classics.
Yep. I mean, we were talking about the setups, and there it is. Just
no.
Ares in the arse, and it's not a lot of fun. I mean, we're going to see Annie picking up a lot of Odins, I'm sure. Oh, all right. Cool.
This has to be such a fun round. For CLG players, they didn't even see anyone. Oh, no.
Oh, God, I think you're right. I don't think they did see anyone.
They didn't see a single person all round. Oh, no.
Well, you know, the first half we got some crazy shenanigans with force buys and so on. Looks like this is more run-of-the-mill, and we'll see that first buy versus buy pretty early for these teams. So, yeah, really looking forward to seeing what CLG Red have here on their attack.
What do they do here? All 5 players looking to get mid control right now for CLG Red. Deep mid smoke. They're looking for fights coming out of mid right now. And that's exactly where Alexis is.
Oh my god, I can't believe Katsumi's in there. But Choba with the trade. Huge trade. And of course, they're just running those Spectres. It's the bonus round here. The Ares goes down as well. So you can see the superiority in the arsenal and the weaponry here for CLG really working out nicely. Just as you said, CLG are looking for the fights. They get them, and they are geared up to win them. Now, in B main, though, I feel like this is quite scary, but it's just a Spectre. Plenty of time to deal with that. And a near flawless, not quite, but close enough. That's a great result for CLG.
Yeah, that is a great result from CLG to win that round in that fashion, going into the mid hit, losing the opening pick. I have to say, if Mel has a Phantom or a Vandal right there, though, that could have been flipped on its head. All 3 of those players back turn. But like you said, Spectre, that's not the range for the Spectre right here.
It's definitely not. It's not the range. It's not the one. Oh, we're actually getting a tactical coming in from CLG. What do you think that's about, Sean?
Hopefully it's something to do with this Odin that Annie Dro has brought out that we have just seen her terrorize teams with at this B site. So I think CLG has probably done their homework coming into this grand final and recognize all the spam coming through the wall soon. But it's hard. It's hard against this Cloud9 white team. That round they gave up the fights, but you could see previously they used the Killjoy alarm bot, the turret, really well to kind of bait out unfavorable fights for their enemies. And they do the same thing with Sova with the recon and the drone and baiting into shock darts, into gravity wells. And then the Sage just slows things down at one of the sites. So there's not many good options unless you go slow. Can CLG go slow in this round?
Mel has a lockdown as well, so a lot of opportunity for C9 to focus on retake. Alexis, not super deep on cap, but definitely in an aggressive position as a setup. A 3-player setup here around the cap position. C9 looking to get aggressive straight away. This is bold stuff into the smoke again. And, up on the wall. Alexis saved by the wall maybe, but no. Claudia with the punish, but the frag coming from Mel definitely makes life much more complicated here. Only just Rise and Benita left alive, A main and in mid at the moment here for CLG Red. But now it's just Rise, and they have no idea where Rise could be really at this point. But it looks like the angle might be covered by Jazzy here. Yes, Jazzy has the angle, whiffs a few shots that gives opportunity to Rise. In fact, Rise escaped without even taking any damage.
This is a Vandal situation if I've ever seen it.
And the smoke comes through as well. There goes the recon, has to turn to destroy that one. Now it's just focusing on this. The double peek comes through. Perfect timing from C9.
And he drilled in. There it is. Wow. Really cool cat play out of Cloud9 White. So that's just a counter shot. If you know the Omen is smoking cat, you get the Sage up there. She walls. You can see that the initial plan was to have the Phoenix go on top of the box. That would have been wild. And then I think someone was going to peek down low as well. There's a lot of craziness going on right there. And we didn't really get to see it play out because of the fact that CLG came into the cat smoke. But they might go for something like that again later on.
Yeah, I love the deep ISOP here again. It's just such a good counter to default. 100 credits, and you get the better timing going into A main control. So now to like take A main control back, you're going to have to spend way more. And there's a possibility here for a bait setup as well to allow the peek from Alexis. We've seen this before in the last time we watched Ascent. Jazzy just takes contact. Oh no, the knife comes through! Alexis though, they don't check for Alexis, and this is why the play is possibly very good. But can Alexis actually get the damage? Because maybe she missed an opportunity there.
Oh, she might have overstayed her welcome here. The retake will definitely come in. Benita has her ult on cat. Benita's gonna go late A main. Is she gonna? She's gonna get caught. There is no way she's gonna be ready for Alexis in this position.
Yeah, the lockdown is such a problem. Naomi's on that really big spawn flank. Alexis is just owning right now from that A main position. The run it back gets popped as well. Naomi finds that timing. That's a beautiful timing from Naomi. Claudia comes through with the Blade Storm, looking to find the next target. 2 players left here for Cloud9. There it is. Dash. Oh, it's just glorious from Claudia.
Oh, the star players from CLG came up massive, particularly Claudia with the Blade Storm. We saw the last 3 right there. That is insane. The reason why Jazzykins pushes here in the beginning is the Killjoy warfare going on across the map. Mel pushes through B, breaks the turret. At that moment, the other Killjoy, Naomi, pushes into mid and breaks Mel's alarm bot. And a lot of comms are flowing between the teams right now at that moment because they're losing info on the other side of the map. That causes the push. I cannot believe CLG weathered that storm, though. Wow.
Yeah, I totally agree. It looked so bad in so many different ways, but that just the timing for Naomi, just all of the timings, the shots, the clutch, it's just that's the kind of stuff that makes you think the CLG have it in them to win this map. A map that I think we both pretty much had CLG counted out for on paper based on what we've seen from C9, based on what we see on the stats pages. CLG Red looking great right now. 1 round behind, but they should be equalizing here unless, touch wood, something untoward happens against the eco.
These Killjoy. Oh, the timing right as Mel crosses the turret.
Standing ahead.
And that's the worst of it gone, really. A 5v3 now. You can group up with the rifles and get yourself into position. That said, there is a rifle, speaking of, on the ground now, thanks to Alexis picking off Benita. So that's going to be picked up. Got to be really careful here not to overextend, as a 4v3 can quickly become a 3v3.
That's a fantastic wall. It's going to make the retake next to impossible. Great use of the wall coming out of Chobo. She's staying on top of it to go for this pick coming out of connector. I'm scared, Dan.
Good trades coming through, though. And C9, they're trying to keep that pressure on. They're trying to get that damage in, but it's going to be looked after quite nicely by CLG. And C9 have done a really good job in these kinds of rounds where maybe CLG, I mean, I think it's fair to say CLG will have less protocols and less experience as a team dealing with these anti-eco situations. C9, it tends to be very clean, but when you're playing against C9, they tend to find damage.
What does CLG Red do with all these ults on deck? You can see
Yeah.
Annie Dro has an ult of her own, so it kind of cancels out the lockdown. They can't really expect to just go into the B site here with a lockdown.
Oh, Alexis.
But the Killjoy turret shot.
And she's changed up her position. They're not going to check for this. The bait setup is huge. Alexis has been set up to absolutely crush this. There's the first kill. The lockdown goes down. Alexis, can she keep it running? She does not. And the Hunter's Fury is popped to get rid of that lockdown. The TP is found out by Jazzy. And now Claudia is just stuck in the ice. And now behind the wall. Oh, it's just so difficult.
Oh.
So difficult.
Yeah, like I said, they had answers for all of the ults that CLG just used that round. But the most important thing was Alexis sliming past that turret at the start of the round and opening this round up. It allowed Katsumi to peek in, take out Benita. The ult is taken out by Annie Dro's ult. And then it allows Jazzykins to stay at A comfortably. Because if those trays don't go down that way, she rotates out the site. But wow, the early round setups from Cloud9 continue to impress.
Yeah, such a good gamble to predict the lockdown play in B main. Leave Alexis there, and we can see that Alexis is actually staying toward B at this point as well, so the defensive setups are hard to predict. If you're CLG, you kind of have to get the info. Play cautiously.
That is massive. An absolutely massive find on Jazzykins, who has the res. The one player that you should really be eyeing out for if you're on CLG. They find her. And they get a clean pick.
Yeah, that's really scary because the Sage is supposed to be able to anchor to slow things down. You have 4 players and you're on the defense. You don't have info right now. And you can see they're not making plays for information here, Sean. They're just leaving A in a retake position. Not playing the site. They're leaving B in a retake position, and they don't have the ults to really retake except the Cosmic Divide.
Yeah, and even with that Cosmic Divide, it is still difficult to retake. But that's clearly what their goal is here, is to use the Cosmic Divide on a site retake.
30 seconds left.
They're going to go into this Mel Cat setup, Dan. Oh dear, Mel might feast on this.
Yeah, this is looking very dangerous indeed. There go the double nano swarms. That's doing so much damage here. Choba trying to get out of there, and it's really hurt 3 players, but they do manage to get past it. Mel able to pick off Naomi. That's a nice kill to get. Mel is doing so much damage. Alexis comes through as well to assist, and suddenly every single CLG player is dropping to the ground. They have to go back to recover. The spike is up to Choba, who has the rest, but no time. It's over thanks to Mel.
Oh, yeah, this is what you see a lot of if you watch these Valorant tournaments, is there's someone that has a crazy setup and the other team is coming into it. Very similar to what Mel just had on Cat. And there's a certain amount of agents that can just get past it, right? You might have a good distance from the second player, and that was the case right there for Chobo. She had good distance to create that space, but no one else can get past it. So you end up in this horrible scenario where everyone else is trailing and they're too late. Very well played by Mel. I mean, she has such good setups.
Oh, the elevated peak with the wall. The aggressive Sage walls. You love to see these. You're talking about setups. Well, the drone is a nice way to deal with it, but it's protected. I think they saw the wall there, though. They know what that means, surely. No, they surely know what this means. Trades in mid around Cat positions. Been a lot of action there between C9 and CLG.
Oh dear, they know.
War for the res. There's the bait! Oh, it works out. Benita takes down Jazzy. And with that now, there's only 3 left on this defense to C9. CLG definitely need this round, and they're looking good for it. It's a 5 versus 3. They have a minute to play with this 5v3.
Oof. Everyone right now chilling above 100 health too for CLG Red. Claudia has great map control. Is someone from Cloud9 White going to rotate into her?
They just always somehow find Mel's setups.
Yeah, right into this double molly setup again.
30 seconds left.
And then they go. Mel's going to drop those nano swarms and loses the first battle. And that was definitely going to be more difficult. So many players got past the nano swarms, and Annie, no ults. Katsumi, no ults. Very little util to work with. The recon is available, though. But you definitely feel hard-pressed to see a world where C9 make this retake a reality.
Ooh, a nice,
finds
nice
one
ping.
in boat.
That's a nice little ping right there. They should know that Naomi or someone has to be in B main. They're going to walk down the stairs.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, they're going for it. They have to keep running, though, because of time. Chobo misses the first few bullets. The wrap comes through. Naomi's not peeking to help protect. She's playing the time, though. She's playing for it all. Oh, my God. Is there time for this? I can't believe it. The 2v4 full retake comes through from C9. Insane clutch from them in this finals. That is crazy, Sean.
That's absolutely wild that they won that 2-on-4. They take their time. They walk down the stairs. They find the 2 frags. Unlucky for CLG that the 1 player remaining backside is the player pinged by the recon. So they can account for 1 more player in the site. And yeah, Naomi had to peek out and get that trade on the person backside. And once it was a 2-on-1, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. C9 continues to win these late rounds.
That is such a heartbreaking round again. And we'll see with the Blazestorm if Claudia can make something happen. Is she going to just dash through this? Surely they'll expect it. Now she will. Oh, the right click lands from Claudia. Fantastic stuff. Katsumi, though, finds the angle just before Claudia can escape into the site. But it's a 44. That's a big result to get on the attack.
It is, but it was only a duelist, so it's not like Cloud9 White has lost some insane piece of utility that they need here. And the duelist is back down. Yikes.
Yeah. Mel has a lockdown, but the Hunter's Fury is available for Benita to cancel it out.
Spike planted.
This really is a tough situation. CLG Red down a player. There's that lockdown. Hunter's Fury should be on the way. Here comes the drop from Alexis. That's to run it back. Rise are able to actually take that one out and still stay alive. And this doesn't look too bad here now. There might be a chance if they can connect some shots here, but C9 are really storming this site effectively. It's just going to be 2 players left in a main coming through here for CLG. The wall goes up. That is so difficult. Limiting the angles. Nice shot from Benita. Oh. That's a quick double. And that's the defuse, though, coming through. Another frag from Benita. It is not enough here for CLG Red to keep them in this one. And again, another map won by C9 White against CLG Red. And my goodness, Sean, again, CLG could have won that game. It was so close.
I feel like we just say the same things over and over, but these maps get so close, and C9 White could falter at the end, and every time they bust out some crazy heroics in a clutch situation. That time, the 2-on-4 to stem the bleeding, you know, just end it. 13-9. The game would look so much closer than 13-9, though.
It really did. It really did. There's just some key moments again where we see that there's just so many experience and edges and like tactical edges that C9 White have, and like that moment as well with the 2v4 retake. That is insane. You don't feel like that could happen against C9 because C9 just have so much experience playing with each other. They have really good synergy in these post-plant moments where they're defending like that. But, you know, you can see some of the differences there. And with that said, you know, like Claudia is doing some excellent work on the jet. Like we were talking about how impactful she needed to be and the kinds of things that she needed to do. And we have seen that in this map so far in the series.
Yeah, I thought Claudia did everything she needed to do there on the jet. I mean, the Bladestorm found tremendous value. She was opening up rounds with the operator. And even, I mean, we kind of wanted to see the Reyna out of Benita, but she had tons of value on Sova. Her ultimate kept them in a lot of rounds by taking out the lockdown. And, you know, one of the retakes where Alexis ulted in A main as Phoenix, you know. There was so many good timings from those two. It's just these nitty-gritty situations in these mid-rounds that Cloud9 wins. I don't know what the solution is to beat them because they come up so big in these clutch scenarios.
Yeah, they really do. But still, like, it does give me confidence that there's still maybe a way in. The issue now is that we're going into the third map, which will be Icebox. And I do feel like this is one of the maps where we could see a really good chance to CLG, but it gets so hard after Icebox because they'll have to then win Haven, which is definitely... I mean, they could make history if they did that. You know, we'll leave it at that because it's time to go to a break. We'll be back here with more action here in the VCT Game Changers finals.
Show me what you got. Back up, 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 back Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back,
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the.
Ever feel uncomfortable and sweaty in that bulky hooding while you're trying to frag out in Valorant? Well, Virus is your answer, fusing patented technology and apparel together to maximize your performance and fuel that passion that defines you. The Virus Gaming Collection is available now with select models up to 50% off. And also, you can see right there, get that code VCT20 for 20% off at checkout. You've got to get these. And the guys, I think they've got some too, but look at that. I mean, that's kind of cool. Super comfortable and definitely very optimal for getting your game on. Right, guys? You've been wearing it this week too, right?
Yeah, I've been wearing it. It's super comfy. It's lightweight. Feels soft on my skin. I like it. I like it.
Super soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
My team
right.
trying to make its way across the seas, but it hasn't made it just yet.
I know. Well, maybe because the library has like a layer of customs too, you know? You never know. Seems like a
Could be,
pretty
yeah.
diplomatic situation over there. Anyways, we just saw Ascent. That was a 13-9 for C9 White and valiant effort by CLG Red. Let's talk about first here. Dan, I want to ask you. We were talking about the 6-6 half, right? A strong CLG half, red half, you said. Talk about that. What did CLG do right?
I think CLG, one of the things they did right was actually to have a really good read as to the way that C9 likes to play, because one of the tricky things about C9 is that, and we've seen other teams fall against this, is that they have a lot of setups and a lot of, I mean, we talk about their tactics all day, C9 White, and so you have to be aware of it, otherwise you can get really caught very badly by it. Even basic things like bait setups, just that C9 have loads of those. So to just have the awareness of how C9 like to play this map is huge. And I think one of the things in the first half that really impressed me was that we saw CLG Red with their retake setups on A main and B main on the defense. And that's actually how they got back into the game. And then following that, it was more good reads as to how C9 were going to play that allowed them to just get more advantages on rotations. So I just have to say that the B and A main retakes.
Yeah, Claudia on Op is scary. Claudia on Bladestorm is scary. Benita and the team, I mean, you just saw them able to string multi-kills together. But, John, in the end, C9 still comes out on top.
Yeah, and it's these mid-round to late-round scenarios, right? This is a game where CLG won the opening duels 15-7, right? And at no point in this game did they feel like they had a commanding lead, despite that statistic. And that's all because of just C9's plans, their layers on these tactics. And it didn't really matter that CLG was pushing through B main and finding opening frags, because C9 had, B and C plans that were still better than the A plan that CLG was bringing.
Man. All right. Well, we have one more map for C9 potentially. They just need one more. CLG, the backs are against the walls. Let's take a look at what that map is going to be decided on right here. Does CLG Red survive this? Icebox selected by CLG, so good in that sense that they kind of have their groove on that, that they feel, however, if C9 is able to bring this back. But I do believe, guys, I don't know who wants to touch on this first. Maybe you, Dan, about how I think there's been some conversation about C9 maybe having some holes on Icebox.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the maps where a team that's very tactical and strategic and wants to play like lots of mid rounds and can get value in the mid and late round. You don't get as many opportunities to do that on Icebox, depending on how your opponent's playing it. So that's one of the reasons why I think you'll see, and it's not necessarily that they have a lot of holes per se. It's more just that their strengths aren't going to be as visible as a team on a map like this. And I think that is like what we saw, what Sean just mentioned about winning so many opening duels. That bodes very well going into a map like Icebox, where those opening duels are really important, and you can do slow sieges on like the A site, and it's like you don't have to worry really about flanks. You can keep it really simple. Equally, like if you're able to deal with some of the basic like long setups on defense, like as long as you know the kinds of setups that C9 want to work, it shouldn't be too hard for CLG if they keep fragging as they have been.
Yeah, I agree. I think the openings in this game will matter a lot more than they did on Ascent. You can just snowball your way into the A site, even without getting the entry. And this is what we saw previously when we watched CLG Red on Icebox throughout this event. This is a map where Benita will play that Reyna, Claudia will play that Jett, and they're going to play loose with those two. They'll have the same core as Cloud9 White with likely a Sova, a Sage, and a Viper, but they play way, way more loose than Cloud9 White. And I think this is a map that could go their way. Like if there was one map in the pool, I think Icebox is that map that suits CLG well in the matchup.
Okay, well, this is it. As I had just said previously, CLG Red needs to win this map if they want to stay in this. So let's head over right now. SIG Agent Select, Sean, Dan, let's find out.
All right, Sean. I feel like we both want to see the Jett and Reyna again. Are we going to see Benita pick up the Reyna?
I think so. I would be shocked if Benita doesn't pull out the Reyna here. And there it is. Yeah. So Benita's going to be on Reyna, and I think this is very big for the matchup. I mean, I don't think they can go toe-for-toe strategically with Cloud9 with these passive setups, because Mel will have the Killjoy, right? That's going to be the difference between these comps, is the Reyna on one side, the Killjoy on the other. The bulk of the tactics are going to come from the Sage, Sova, Viper trio on both of these teams. So the same, B hits are going to be happening with both the walls coming in, the Sage and the Viper walls. The A hits could be a little bit more lurky, though, for CLG. And before, I think, if I remember correctly, Mel was playing that A site a lot as Killjoy. So
yeah.
Do you think that they could get past that utility? I don't think that utility is that solid. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I feel like you can. I feel like it's not as good as some other maps, just because there's just a lot more passages to go. It's harder. It's harder to split people up. And when you're coming in on the retake as the defenders, it's pretty sketchy compared to some other maps. Like let's say if you hold on to backside on backside C on Haven, like you have a really strong position as the defenders, but like having backside on Icebox, it can still be kind of sketchy because there's lots of different elevations to deal with. Stuff can get split up weirdly by walls, like getting angles and like comboing with the teammates is not quite as easy. It's definitely more difficult, and that means that the delay utility is not as impactful as well, I'd say, in that sense.
Yeah, and I think another thing about the Killjoy setup, when we were casting the TSM game with Cloud9 White, I noticed they were very susceptible to those A flanks. TSM was constantly just being annoying with the A flanks throughout the entire game. I think it was Zoe actually that was just a thorn in their side when we were watching that game. I'm curious if CLG kind of plays into that a little. Do they play off of the A site and opt for more flanks? Maybe that's a weakness in Cloud9's game that we just aren't aware of yet.
Yeah, that's quite possible. And I want to ask a very quick question, if you can answer it in a sentence. Like, where do we want to see, how does the Reyna get the max value against C9?
I mean, on this attack half, probably playing super aggressive towards B, and in the maze, the defense side playing in the maze at A and just dismissing away.
All right. Well, here we go. CLG starting things off on the attack. We'll have to see what Benita gets up to on this Reyna. We've seen how lethal her first bullet precision is, so really looking forward to seeing that, especially with the classic. Here it goes. And there's that util coming in. Nice from Mel, the fadeaway with her classic. And the flank is coming through as well. Rise on this with that snake bite, trying to create some delay, spreading out the defense as much as possible.
That's big too. She spotted 2 people on the flank, and Claudia got a frag on the opposite side. So that means they're safe in this site for quite a while.
Well, that wall will get knocked down. Claudia going for the jewels. That does get some great damage. The trade comes through into the Cloudburst. Chobo knows exactly what that Cloudburst means. And CLG in a really great position. Liking the move here from Chobo. Falling back to 410. Able to play off of her teammates. There goes the wall. That's a lot of pressure. That's going to force Chobo to make forward ground here. Going towards backside. Has to win this fight against Mel. Big win. Also Rise winning the fight against Alexis. That'll close it down. And CLG, they'll pick up the pistol. And that looks good pretty much all the way.
Yeah, Chobo and Claudia did a great job of holding the A site, stabilizing things. Mel getting the opening find on Benita. It didn't look like that should have happened or even been a possibility, but Mel is so good at playing passively on this A site. We've seen it all tournament long where she'll play back there off of her Killjoy utility, peek out, do a lot of damage, fall back, and by the time the enemies have planted the spike, the full retake is happening. And it almost occurred, but Rise caught the flank.
3 players on belong here for C9. They are on the save. They're going to make their way through. And at the same time, CLG Red, Claudia could actually get isolated by this push that's coming through. It is Jet, though, so can you really ever isolate a Jet? I don't know. Probably not.
Doesn't seem possible.
Dash is there. There we go. Okay, well, she did die eventually. But so, I mean, a 4 versus 1. I think if they only lose 1 player here, they're very happy. And yep, that's exactly how it's going to be. So 2-0 up, and we go into the first gun round here between these two teams.
A lot of emphasis on this A site early, Dan. You mentioned it You mentioned it in the pregame. The A site is where things can get a little bit wild. I mean, there's not a lot of good options for the defensive players on this site. And I like just the scrappy mindset CLG has approached the early part of this game with. I hope it continues throughout the half.
Yeah, definitely feel the A hit through on this one. And we do have the Viper Wall coming through to try to deny that from Katsumi on C9's behalf. And we get aggression here. The updraft does get caught by Katsumi. That forward position, a lot of teams like to do this. And, you know, we have a couple of Spectres out, the Bulldog. And we get the walk-up tube, actually. This was one of the things you were mentioning before, that this was something that was somewhat of a susceptibility in C9's defense, is to get pushed on through this spot. But Mel finds the great timing there. That's a 3 versus 5 for CLG now. Really tough. But on Icebox, you can find a lot of isolated battles. So a lot of timing, and Mel again, really cognizant of the push. Alexis, we've seen her here before, and easy frag. Okay, if Naomi can get one or two more kills, I think they'll be happy.
Yeah, I agree. I think the round is all but over, but Naomi can't even get one more. Mel with a massive hold in that kitchen position. The reposition to get the second was so big.
Yeah, definitely. This was really looking to me like it could have been a huge opening, but did get shut down. And you know, maybe some lessons have been learned there by C9 from that previous match, where, as you mentioned, TSM were able to get a lot of value out of that kitchen area and just pushing up tube and so on, finding the timings. But into the next gun round, it's a full gun round, as close as can be at this point.
Doubling up on B long. Jazzy's pushing super aggressive.
It's a good find by Jazzy, and able to back away for free. So another early player advantage coming through here for C9 against CLG. The drone is going to come through. They have to clear all these positions. Jazzy just lurking around. Oh, able to catch Jazzy. That's a big moment there for Benita. Able to pop the Leer, get that ground towards the B site. They have the wall still available. Oh, no, sorry, they don't, because Trobo died. So that's going to make this very difficult.
Oh. Throughout this entire event, I've watched Benita play so aggressive in this exact position. I have a feeling she's going to take the fight to these site players.
Well, she's going to have to at this point as well, because they just lost another player. They don't really have the way to get the spike planted. Every rotation's here, basically, and that means that they can't get a plant without getting the frags. And you can see that they understand this. They're falling back. There's just no way to get the spike down. Mel's waiting for this. She's going to get all that info. She's got a lockdown, so she could probably just prevent this round from being won just with a lockdown.
Oh, no, Dan. You're absolutely right. She could pop this lockdown and just end the round right now.
She's going to try to save it.
10 seconds left.
And, well, you can see it's a smart decision from Mel, because able to get all the kills there. Rise in a very difficult position, and that's going to be it. Able to save the lockdown. Big play from Mel. She could have guaranteed it, like you said, but we'll keep it, and you know, we'll keep our eyes on that, because it could make a huge difference going into these following rounds. But yeah, looks like C9 are being quite comfortable at this point. It feels like you need to see a change of approach from CLG.
Yeah, and I think that round is won by Alexis, who I think was the player in the B site as CLG was running away, right? She's the one that gets all of the info, all of the noise, before Mel ever spots across everyone from Cloud9 White's rotating, because Alexis is likely, you know, saying, hey, there's either one gigantic human running down B long, or there's 4 people running the other side.
Deploying drone.
Well, the drone comes through. That pressure on A main is in. At the same time, we do have a lurk coming through up tube. I believe the turret is covering it, so it does get destroyed. So Mel turns their attention to kitchen. And Rise comes back out of tube. This is so hard right now for CLG. They don't have the weapons for this, really.
Yeah, it looks like their only play here is to have Chobo wall off Jazzy. And maybe that allows... Oh.
Cloudburst instead, they're going to swing onto backside. Trade onto Annie Dro, thanks to Claudia with that Sheriff. The Viper's pick comes through, and this might be that spot for the lockdown now. That might have to be the play to make this one seem safe. The res comes through. Claudia with a forward kill onto Katsumi. Jazzy finds the elevation to take down Claudia in trade, but 3 versus 3. And there it is. Defenders lockdown. That forces out Naomi's Hunter's Fury. And Jazzy focuses on her now, but not for too much longer. CLG, oh my goodness. Looking to convert a round that looked very desperate indeed. Alexis, I don't know what she can do here. In this 1v3, creeping into the Viper's pit. There is no time for this at this point. She's got no HP.
Oh.
And that's a cheeky frag. But still, she's going to die. And that's the thrifty for CLG.
Man, that is that's such a big round to win for CLG. This is an attack-sided map. You know, they can't fall behind early. And to win that round when Mel has to use this lockdown is such a big momentum shift early in this game. I didn't see the Viper's pit on deck. That's what changed the round. Rise using that pit on the site. They had Spectres in play, and those Spectres just feasted inside.
Yeah, and I think also I think Naomi had to get a trade kill to get the Hunter's Fury to kill the lockdown. And there's so many things went well there. Claudia as well, but still, we get that aggressive look again here from C9, and ooh, Jazzy's in trouble. Has to burn the dash. Falling back, but the chase is in. Benita will not allow them to get out of here. Able to dismiss away as well. Jazzy is alive with that Guardian, but this is not a good situation by any stretch for C9. Rise are going to find a couple players on the flank. Ooh, looking a little bit labored, but does take one down at least. Now, Jazzy and Mel from 2 angles is going to have to be pretty insane. There's one pop in the distance. Down to Jazzy with the Guardian. This would be quite the highlight. Gets caught on the jump across. The timing's good for Claudia.
There we go, Dan. CLG has managed to find their way back into the game. They're up 4-2. Cloud9 does have a couple good ults on deck. I think this is pretty much an even half right now, though, in my eyes. It's a tack-sided map, like I said. And the comp does side in C9's favor. I think they have a little bit of a better comp for the switch.
We do have Jazzy now on that operator too, so that might help out C9 quite a bit. We'll see what Jazzy... Yeah.
Push. And this has worked for her a lot when I've watched her do this.
Going back to Old Faithful with that then. And there's the punish on the drone. Oh, the bait that's awesome. If it's all about baiting the drone to get a peek for Jazzy to get the frag, that's just genius. But at the same time, Claudia will not be denied position. And that's that Jet Reyna combo heading up that A site. And I mean, you can get these frags in mid, but look at the position they've lost. Oh, that's a huge defense taking down Claudia. Now Cloud9 are looking great.
Jazzy's op remains true. Oh my goodness, so much. She's found so much throughout the entire event in mid.
Oh, that was almost a lot of damage there by Benita. Yeah, it's I was really afraid for C9 because despite them getting that kind of pick in mid, you give up the whole A site for it, and it looked like that was going to cost them the round, but they're straight back in it.
You really painted the picture perfectly. I love how she baits the drone, right? You try to just peek that drone to break it, or maybe you wait for it to fade away and then you peek just to see if anyone's pushed in mid. And it's so hard to read that the operator has pushed down tube in a scenario like that. They're so tricky. C9 finds so many tricky ways to get their openings.
Yes. They really are masters of the bait setups. Really. So many different types of bait setups. Oh, Jazzy. So close on that one. The punish, though, from Chobo. That's a huge opening. They're going to run it through off the back of that. Annie, though, well, that long-range Hunter's Fury could cause problems, but does manage to be mostly evaded here by CLG. And we got Claudia going deep with the blades, and she's going to find an easy freebie up on the wall. Alexis down on the ground as Claudia looks for the next victim, and the forward positioning here is really strong. Another one for Claudia before she finally goes down. It's a 2v4 retake. We've seen this before, though. But surely not, again.
Surely not, Dan.
Surely not.
I don't doubt it though. Watching Cloud9. Whoa, there's one.
And he's trying to make it happen. The time is already a problem. We got that Viper post-spawn util as well coming through. Oh no, it looks like it might be happening here. Rise has to swing, and the swing comes in, and it didn't get to halfway in time. I don't think there's time for this. Annie will be so very close, but just not close enough. CLG come through with the clutch, but that was a 2v4. And again, you're wondering how do they make it so close? And I think Annie Dro's got something to do with that.
It's like they just get super strength in these 4-on-2s, and every fight goes their way. They win them all, and their utility is perfect. Oh, I thought they did it again. I really did. Just
It's like that
barely
thing.
not enough time.
Where like you're playing an RPG and like one of your traits or abilities is like you go down to 10% HP and your damage goes to like 500% or something, you know? Like that's what's happening here for C9. They just get stronger the less players are left. Oh man, that was really close. But CLG take a tactical timeout, and like when will we know, do you think, Sean, that like CLG have got like a decisive lead on this attacking half? You know, is it going to be very recoverable or expected for C9 to be able to recover if they're just stuck on these 3 rounds, or what are we looking at?
Oh, I think they need 7. Now, normally I would say a team needs more, but I have faith in Benita and Claudia to be disruptive on the defensive half, more so than what Cloud9's doing right now. But they would need to win pistol if they only get 7. I think 8 I would feel comfy. How about you, Dan? What do you think? What do you think is the key number that they're looking for here?
Yeah, I think 7 as well. I also feel confident in their abilities on this map. They're definitely finding the confidence too. I like the options that they get with Reyna, the aggression that Benita can provide is with Claudia. I really am enjoying that. But back into this, we're seeing that A belt pressure coming through and actually contacting with the drone. Katsumi force off the screen.
That allows Mel to chill here at 410 with this judge, Dan. She has a turret watching her back and an alarm bot on top of that.
Here goes the swing, though, and it doesn't find the first connection. Benita's good with it. She gets the heal off of that as well. Oh, they're actually falling back, and we can't forget, Rise has been sitting in the spawn ship, just waiting for any flanks this entire time. And we talked about the slow siege on A, and I love what this reset's doing to C9. The levels of doubt that if CLG re-exec into the site, they'll have less utility to worry about. They've got more numbers now.
Yeah, and just waiting has pulled 2 of those Cloud9 white players off of this A site. Annie Dro is now playing solo retake. Killjoy utility deactivated because of that opening pick onto Mel. This site's lost. The spike will definitely go down. 5-on-4.
Spike planted.
Yeah, that wall is really annoying too for the post plant. I'm really liking teams that are doing that. Oh my god, Jazzy with those knives. She's doing so much damage right here. Alexis able to punish off of the back of that. And suddenly, Annie Dro is unleashed from heaven. And it was looking so incredibly good here for CLG. But they're well and truly struggling at this point. Naomi has to find a timing. Looking to find it. But around 410, she's just not going to be able to get that frag that she's looking for. Jazzy from up top. And now there's Annie just wreaking havoc around 410, pressing onto the remainder of CLG, and this is nothing that they can do now. That retake was stunning.
Very good, and Annie Dro caught the timing, peeking from rafters right there, catching the player jumping back past 410. The round was so decided when Naomi, fluffed the spray on the person top site. Whew! The blade storm though, Jazzykins. It's just so dirty. It's so dirty.
Yeah, that was just such a great swing because she gets that updraft at the same time as her teammates are swinging with her, and it just all comes together so well. That's the synergy that C9 have. That's definitely one of the things that works so well in their favor. But going to be an eco coming through here for CLG. They have actually quite a lot of ultimates. They're going to run it straight under the tube into B. And because of the 2-player setup on B long, they're going to get a free plant out of this. It's actually amazing.
That is crazy. They go right past C9's setup. There's just so much going on right now. Chobo, this is a very good play.
It really is with the Ghost as well, though. Chobo is going to fall off and try to delay. There's just 2 left now here for CLG. Very unfortunate, though, that they can't connect some of these shots. They are just on pistols. Cleanups, it looks to be coming through here. Just 1 kill, but a spike plant and a kill with what they had is definitely nothing to shake a stick at, so...
No, well, it wasn't a horrible round by them. I actually thought Cloud9 White did a fantastic job of just allowing those 2 players B to push through to keep control of something. And once they found the frag onto Rise, who was holding the B push, it really just allowed them to just turn around, only focus on B. And once the pinch was in with those spawn players, you just can't hold that with only pistols. So Cloud9 White seemingly had, a planned reaction right there that they just stuck to, and it worked really, really well.
.5 then, so all tied up. C9 in a great spot to overtake, but it looks like CLG, based off that last round, are liking this under tube play. Now they have guns, but Jazzy peels away one of the attackers. That's a very important pick. That's the Viper going. Annie finding value yet again from Spawn. Now Katsumi is going to find the bag of Benito, who was looking to punish Annie, and just none of these fights are working out. Naomi is going to get killed as well. Oh, that's just one of those horrible situations where, you look for that one pick or like to trade that 1 kill, and that opens you up on a timing for somebody else. And that just repeats and repeats.
I feel like we just had like a casting dry run, Dan, and then we just went right back into it, like we were practicing, and we got to see the same round all over again.
Yeah.
There's the double B long push coming out of Cloud9 White. They take out Rise, and they just turn their attention into the split. And once you're just facing that 2-prong assault from inside the B site, it's so difficult. You just have nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hide. And the players, they're just spinning around. They don't know which direction to look. Great recovery from Cloud9 White. They just give up mid and they recover every time.
Yeah, it looked like such a good idea because I felt like CLG was like, yeah, this is a leak. We can definitely get so much ground by doing this. But that Viper's pit on B long, as mentioned, we know that C9's not always a big fan of going through these at all. But CLG might be a different story here. The Hunter's Fury coming in. I love this. Just off of the back of the drone, knowing that they probably will try to move through the Viper's pit. Oh, Katsumi looking for the value. Will get it. Benita, meanwhile, is going to push through to A. The trade comes through, and this play is basically everywhere at the moment, and the rotation is coming back, but Jazzy is in every best position you could want.
Chobo has the res, Dan, but dear God, Katsumi is right behind them.
Oh, it's in the open ground. Jazzy fears no one. Nice run out. Doesn't matter. Trade is through. 1v3 for Rise as Drone is about to get the tag, and there it is. And when that happens and you're in a clutch, probably one of the worst feelings. And we talked about the 7 rounds scoreline, and it looks like C9 are the team getting that. So CLG starting to struggle as we move into the second half.
Yeah, this is where things get hard for CLG, in my opinion. This defensive half against Cloud9's methodical clears across the map. I think Claudia and Benita are going to have to come up massive if CLG wants to win this map. They need to find so many opening frags here, particularly probably at the A side.
Yeah, it's so difficult sometimes to know as well on this map. How do you want to do you want to bother trying to take B long control with 2 players? We'll get into that in a bit perhaps, because we do have the pistol starting now, and we'll see C9 focusing on the A side at least to begin with. They've got that pressure. Jazzy's just jumping. I wonder if that's just to fake. We've seen that they love to fake with audio cues, C9, on these pistols.
Oh, this drone cannot see Benito or it's all over, Dan.
And there it is. Gets the tag, in fact. Jazzy follows it up. There's a double from Jazzy. Chobo has to get in this with a double. Can't quite find the second, though. And that's going to leave it all up to Naomi and to Rise. Trying to make their way forwards into this retake. It's going to be very tough. Both have ghosts, so they're quick to the headshots. Might be able to make some magic happen here. Naomi creeps above. That wall, you know what it means. That's one player spotted. You know the info's there. The setup, the crossfire with that wall as well is just so brutal to deal with. Dash comes out. Rise even picks off another, but it's just too much here. And C9 convert.
Oh, man. I feel like my face isn't big enough to control the size of smile I had from that crossfire. That just happened. That was Annie Dro chilling on catwalk. Her goal isn't to get a frag right there. It's just to be first point of contact. She just tags someone, I believe, in like the feet right before they drop down. It's just the most annoying thing you can imagine if you're going to drop into two people behind that sage wall. And then she's shock darting right away. C9 just looks so solid in these late round scenarios. It's like they've rehearsed everything.
Yeah. That sage wall is so annoying to deal with. Claudia, they will get the buy. The investment comes through from CLG. The Marshall does get a tag, actually. So Claudia is doing some damage here with that. And C9, they're going to actually rotate back. It was the heal for Jazzy, who got tagged by the Marshall. And
look where Katsumi has... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong Viper. It looks like Rise is actually maintaining B long control. But this fight is everything. And they've lost the B site now. Yikes.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You couldn't even finish the sentence, and it was over. C9 have the spike plant on B. They've got position for the post plant. They're looking pretty solid here. Annie with the drop onto Chobo. And this round is going really well. They're going to have a secret lab flawless against the Force Buy. You couldn't ask for better. C9 looking to speed run the rest of this grand finals.
Yeah, it's definitely what it seems like. The drone is just demolishing this early round aggression in the A site. I said Claudia and Benita needed to open things up, probably at the A site. Unfortunately, just one piece of utility from Annie Dro is just dismantling everything, right? The second the Marshall hit comes in, someone else was hit by the drone, so they can account for 2+ people at A. They roll it back to B, and when Rise falls... You know, the round is over at that point when she fell at 1B.
And now they have to full save. Now they have to almost resign themselves to that 5-10 scoreline. But we'll see if something crazy happens here as the A siege begins. Claudia with the peek, and the punish comes through. So looking quite clean and methodical. You know, that wall going up for the post plant. It's so difficult to deal with this wall. Like being able to hide behind that. I like that as like as a way to maybe solve it, but I mean, and they are getting some frags off of this, so damage is being done.
Ooh, that's a nice shock dart. Doesn't even need to peek.
Post plant util is really annoying. Maybe Chobo and Naomi can just eke out one extra frag at least as they look to move forwards. Oh, almost a chance there for Chobo, but we will get the conversion from Cloud9. So yeah, that's the 5-10, or rather 10-5 scoreline in favor of C9. This is the third map in this series. C9 2 maps up already. CLG, they need this buy. This buy has to work. It has to work for them.
I feel like I am just mega coping if I think C9 can manage to not close out this map right now and CLG, force this comeback. But it all starts with this op that Benita bought right here. She's going to peek below the tube, and that is where Jazzy is going to take the fight.
Yeah, big battle to kick things up. The updraft comes through from Jazzy, and tagged by that recon dart. And Benita actually thinks that Jazzy might still be up there, so that's always the annoying factor about the jet, so they can be in so many spots. Drone gets no info, doesn't see anyone in mid. Claudia finds the kill on Mel. You've got to be thinking that that's a lurk if you're CLG.
Yeah, Mel is typically lurking around that A site, but it does make the hit very one-dimensional now. I think CLG should be able to read out the rest of this round fairly easily. 4 players from their team on this B site, and that dart gives a lot more info.
Yeah, there's the wall coming through to delay things here, and CLG are so ready to defend this. 40 seconds for this spike to get planted, and it's looking very hard for C9 at this point. They're starting to swing onto the positions. They're just taking the raw gun battles, and it is yielding fights at the very least, but it's just Jazzy left. 1 versus 3. Time is really against her, and a great finish through from Rise with the clean headshot, and that's CLG in a must-win round scenario, picking it up.
Okay, CLG had really, really good stall utility right there on the B site. You can see they were ready for the Sage Wall to come up, and they immediately destroyed it. It was also met with mollies coming from Rise, so it's not like, you know, Cloud9 could have just strolled up and planted the spike. They would have gotten spammed through the box. They would have been in Viper mollies. So they make C9 resort to kind of like a, you know, their B plan, which is taking the fights. And that's exactly what CLG wanted them to do right there.
Talking about stall utility, that A side is not going to be easy to get through. Benita, they're going to maybe funnel into Benita. Maybe that's the plan all along. Put the operator towards B, drop all the stall on A. Still some pressure here from C9. Benita still not seeing anything.
They do have this res from Alexis, so they can, if they wanted to, they could push into this Viper pit and look for the frag and try to trade it out. But like you said, we don't see Cloud9 do this very often.
Benita coming through on the timing. Oh, just missing it. She's got to be aware. No! Oh no, that's so heartbreaking for Benita. That's a massive opening from Mel. 40 seconds. Everybody's towards this A site. Rise now has to come out huge, but they're all going above. They're going above. Oh, a sound cue from Jazzy, though. That might give the game away. Rise spots it. The bullets come through. Can't get the frag, though. It's Jazzy's. And now that's the wall. That's the Viper pit coming through from C9 to play the post plant. That is such a difficult situation for CLG to be in now, especially with this. Look, there's enough already for them to deal with, and you can't account for the lurk on top of all of that. Mel making matters worse here. Well, the Viper's pit's going to go down onto that frag. There's the very ambitious res. Very ambitious res. Oh my goodness. I thought that Jazzy making that audible on top of 410, I thought that that was Rise about to get a double and save the round.
Oh, I don't think you could ever predict that 3 people would take the rope above your ult like that. That is just an incredible play from C9 White.
I mean, you know, we said it, Sean. They don't go through the Viper's pit.
No, we never talked about going above
okay,
it.
okay, yeah.
That was amazing. Slow right on the slow orb. Recon right above that. You can see how difficult C9 makes it to play aggressive on them.
Yeah, and CLG are buying into this. They're forcing it up because they don't want to allow C9 to get to 12 for free and play from that spot. Benita on this A site. Oh, no. Jazzy with the re-peek is so solid there against Benita. Big opportunity now gone. Chobo, though, meanwhile, taking down Mel. Always a good pick to get. Claudia trying to make it happen here with the Sheriff with the knives. I do really enjoy that Claudia is not afraid to take the fights that are necessary, but... Oh, the res comes through. Chobo's not in a position to do anything here. We'll get caught out in the open. It's such a slow burn here for CLG, but they are just slowly melting away.
This really does feel like death by 1,000 paper cuts right now, Dan.
Yeah.
It's like every time they encounter someone on Cloud9 White, there's a weird reposition, something else happens, and they lose a little bit more HP. Oh, 1 on 5 here for Naomi. She has the ult, but there's just no opportunity to use it. Just have to bring it into the last and final round. 6-12 is likely in the cards.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Naomi has her already charged up fully and ready to go, so at least there is that for the next round. Saving this would be great, but I don't know that that's a reality. That is possible. And Joe will finish it off. And we're going to have CLG fighting for their life, their tournament life here in the grand finals against C9 White, who are looking to whitewash them, actually, with that 3-0 sweep if CLG aren't able to convert this map.
Look at Jazzykins up there. 27 frags in only 18 rounds. Just absolutely took over this map here. You can see CLG doesn't have an answer. They keep doing this double duelist A setup, and they're just getting picked apart. But this round, it's only going to be Mel over here. She's just going to be holding for the push. This is a B hit.
Some good delay coming through with the Ice Orb, though, and that might buy some time. There goes the drone to get some clearance. This does look pretty textbook. It got the attacker Killjoy ultimate, the lockdown from Mel. And there is the Hunter's Fury to break it. Getting the plant behind the wall, though. Looking pretty safe right now, C9. Wall does get broken, but the spike has gone down. It's done its job. Jazzy in that forward position. Oh, Chobo is going to be able to finish that one. Great finish with that Spectre. There's the dash. Claudia wants to get close with this judge. Is she able to get it happening? No, Katsumi denies, but Chobo's back in it again with the Spectre. Alexis is waiting, lying in wait, but Chobo able to get it onto Alexis. But there it is. Mel to finish it off. Who better? And Cloud9 win the VCT Game Changers. That's the second one for the second time without dropping a map against CLG Red. Unbelievable stuff. They are still the GOATs, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even doubt it. You can't. No one can deny the fact that Cloud9 White is the best team in this event. Without dropping a single map, all their opponents' map picks, all their own map picks, the middle of the map pools for them. You know that would be such as this one. You know, like they are just the best team in this scene, and it's not because they're doing it with only skill, which honestly, they look like a highly skilled team, but tactically, this team looks fantastic, Dan.
They absolutely do, and those small differences, you know, we've been able to highlight because also of the quality of the opponents that they're playing, who pushing them to show us the range that they have.
How are you guys so calm? First of all, I mean, congratulations to Cloud9 White on their second victory in Game Changers in a row. And that was amazing fashion as well. I do want to point out CLG did have a lead for the first time in the series that we'd seen, but then it just kind of fell apart, right?
Yeah, I don't think this is about CLG and blowing a lead or maybe playing a bad map. This has to be about Cloud9's dominance and the success we've seen them have time and time again. It's one thing to get to the top. It's another thing to stay on the top like they've done in this scene.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, let's, I mean, I think we want to be able to show everybody a little bit, obviously, what we do. Some more highlights on what we just witnessed on this map, Icebox. This is our third and final map. It is over. DDK. Call out some of the things here that were just really integral and just real clean from C9.
Well, I think, you know, C9 once again, you know, we talked about, you know, Mel's impact maybe being something that would be a bit more difficult on a map like this, but she still found that massive impact. They still found loads of great plays around this A site, and you can see Jazzy here. Jazzy was absolutely amazing on that A site as a defender with the Jet. And also on the attack as well, Jazzy was creating so much damage with the Jet. And again, sometimes the best way to answer a Jet in Claudia is having an amazing Jet yourself. And Jazzy just knew all of the right plays to make and created so much space whenever it was necessary. So just such a reliable player on whatever duelist she's playing. And that, I think, was such an important factor here, because otherwise, I think, you know, Claudia would probably have found more openings, and Benita, honestly, to kind of get ahead on the firepower.
Yeah, 13.
I couldn't agree more, Dan. And I think credit also has to be given to Mel, who actually was the top fragger on the team in this series. partially due to, Jazzy playing that Sage role in the second map. But what a series from Mel as the in-game leader and as the sentinel player on the team to top frag amongst these giants on your team. This is just what this team is so good. They're so good.
100% couldn't have said it better myself. And with that, we did see Jazzykins getting that match for the match MVP for the last map. However, for this series, we are giving our match MVP, our Nyx professional makeup match MVP to Mel, or just as you said, Sean, for that outstanding performance she's done this series.
Yeah, very well deserved, honestly. They won this tournament with just strategic preparation, being always one step ahead when I'd watch them. So many cool little synergized ult plays they had, so many ways to open up the rounds or even retake. They looked great, and you have to give credit to Mel, not only for her frags, but just the amount of work she's clearly done to get the team on this level.
100%. Man, I'm hype. I'm mad hype. Sean, can you pass me that respawn by 5 gun really quick?
Oh yeah. This one, the pomegranate watermelon one.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to throw it over.
Can you open it for me though? Can you open it for me real quick?
Open it? Yeah.
Open it for me.
Let me see here.
I don't want to, it's fine.
Yeah.
We love
There
this.
you go.
Some,
okay, we go right there.
No.
Dan,
Ready?
you might want to duck here. This is coming over.
Oh yeah.
your head.
Okay. Here we go. Oh my god, I almost missed it. Okay, but I got it. All right. Oh my god. These gums are so good. Like it's built. Like help with your mental focus and your game reaction time. Like after this, you guys, I need to hop into a server because I am hyped. And I mean, I need all the help I can get, So at home, you guys can try the variety pack right now, available at respawnbyrazor.com. So definitely go check that out. Pomegranate.
We're on a delay, but I just want to say, everyone that typed cringe, there's no shot, you guys. You just know they're spamming cringe.
This pomegranate watermelon's so good. Yeah. You have that tropical punch or cool mint, Sean?
Oh, I definitely got the cool mint right here. Yeah. Tropical punch too. Yeah.
Yes. So get yours. Man, this is super
I got
juicy.
nothing.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
okay.
you're in a library. You can't chew gum.
It's really good. You'll get yours. It's fine. And you guys can also get yours as well. But right now, it's time for our interview, our Verizon post-match interview. And we are going to be bringing in Jazzykins.
Hi.
Yes! Jazzykins! Hello! Oh my gosh, okay, the first and obvious one. How are you feeling right now? 2-time champions of the Game Changer series.
Even though it's my 3rd time winning, it still gets my heart pounding every time, so.
Guys, you want to kick off?
Yeah. So I have to ask you play Sage on Ascent. I mean, you're clearly absolutely wild on Raze and Jet. What do you prefer to play? Like, what is your agent? Because you're so good at using utility on all 3 of those agents, particularly the Raze Showstopper. I mean, we've casted a lot of games, Dan and I don't see that much usage come out of the Showstopper in these pro games. So which agent do you like playing the most right now?
Definitely Jet. I feel like I could Jet diff anybody in any match, so I'm very confident in Jet.
Hey, I want to jump in real quick. So the guys were really impressed with that round 17 cross over the top of the Viper pit. Whose call was that to make? Was that an audible, or was that something you guys already came in kind of pre-planned?
I think that was just audible, to be honest. Like, we know that they're gonna jump down for sure because they have to. But yeah, it was just
Nice, clean.
Yeah, that was pretty epic.
So,
does it feel like I'm gonna jump in here,
go ahead.
Sean? Yeah. Is it gonna be something that's, I think we saw in the pre-match interviews that was pre-recorded that you guys are saying that for Game Changers you sort of focus on just playing your own game as efficiently as possible. Are you feeling like more challenged? Because we feel like CLG did actually a pretty good job. There's a lot of opportunities for them. I mean, there were some insanely clutch moments that you guys had to actually just really make sure that it was totally secure, like moments like that 2v4 on Ascent. It was like Annie Dro leading the charge and stuff like that. Are you feeling that improvement throughout the teams in Game Changers?
Sorry, like for us, or are you talking about CLG?
just in general, just the teams you're playing as, the caliber.
Okay.
Just does it feel like it's raising from your experience as a player?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like teams definitely stepped it up since the last Game Changers. Yeah, the one that challenged us the most was definitely Shopify. In the qualifier, they made us drop a map first time. So yeah, I feel like teams are definitely stepping it up, and I hope some team will step up to us and beat us someday. So.
Oh, the call is out, everyone. So get on it right now. Well, with that, then I want to follow up on what you just said, Shopify giving you the biggest kind of run for your money there in previously, but it wasn't the case the second time. Was that because you guys tweaked things up to make sure that it just was going to be a shutdown, or it just happened to be a roll of the dice and just happened that way because you guys are so good?
Well, I think during the qualifier, we were definitely a little bit sloppy, so we cleaned up a lot of stuff, especially on our split. Split was one of our worst, I wouldn't say worst maps, but we struggle on split the most out of all the maps. So yeah, we just cleaned it up, and yeah, we got the job done.
I have a question for you, Jazzy. It's more about like your team as a whole. When you guys go into these matches, how much of it is like game plan? Like how many rounds do you guys have like chalked up before the game starts? This is what we're gonna do on pistol. This is what we're gonna do on first gun, and this is what we're gonna do on X, Y, Z round.
Yeah, we definitely we first read the team before we do any exec or like, yeah, we just wait it out, see what they do, and then we just adapt to what they do.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I think like a lot of good teams learn to adapt, and so for the past like couple weeks before Game Changers, we were definitely working on how to adapt to certain situations, and slow down is the most important thing as well.
Yeah, that's something that Dan and I gave you guys so much credit for throughout the cast, is how good you guys are at adapting, and clearly you've given thought to what to do when you get those scrim reps, right? And so just hats off to all the crazy adaptations you guys had throughout this event, because I think that's what makes you guys be a cut above your competition right now.
All right. Well, hey, I want one last question for you, Jazzy. You guys are getting ready now after this for VCT qualifiers. What is the game plan? Because now you've got to go to a whole different patch. And what is it? You guys are going to leave like this moment, or is it tomorrow you have to hit the ground running?
Well, like the new patch is crazy, right? It changes everything. Especially the econ, that changes a whole lot as well. Especially our agents, we're gonna do a lot of agent swaps, I think. Yeah, so it's gonna be hard because like this timeline isn't best for us, especially. So we gotta grind at it, and yeah.
Okay, well, good luck with that. I don't doubt you guys are already going to so adapt to that so well. As you said, the adapting, right? You guys haven't nailed the evolve or die aspect. So congratulations again, our grand champions of Game Changers. Go celebrate. Woo! I can't believe it's already over, guys. Boom.
No. I'm kind of sad that Cloud9 White's so good. Why do they have to give us only 3 maps?
Well, let's take a look at the bracket right now. Let's see who C9 went through to get here, and just kind of how everyone else also fared throughout the event. We started out our 4-day event weekend with 8 teams. Dwindled down. Dan, I don't know if you want to talk over this a little bit. Give any context?
Yeah, I think obviously in the Game Changers, the first tournament as well, like getting to the deeper part of this bracket, it kind of looks somewhat similar with some of the teams that are up here, performing. I think TSM was a team that was really impressive to me, and that matchup that they played against C9, as we can see, C9 actually faced off against them. Of course, C9 just beasted everybody, without dropping a map. But TSM definitely made it pretty close and had a lot of opportunities. We saw C9 also 2-0ing, nothing to lose. Another match that Sean and I had the pleasure of casting, and that was another one of those matches where it just was such a good showing of how much work C9 put in and how clean they are when they get into the competition format. And getting 2-0s like that against, to follow, as I just mentioned, against TSM, and then moving onwards into the rest of the tournament is something that I think is really impressive in the sense that you're the best team. They're going into it, they already have the evidence for that, yet they still play so disciplined. It takes so much focus and energy to do that. So massive props for them to make it a run like this. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how TSM are next time around. I think TSM could be a pretty strong dark horse contender, depending on how, if the rosters stay the same. I don't know if you feel the same way, Sean, but I really liked what they were bringing to the table.
No, I like a lot of the things I saw in this event, because even though Cloud9 won the event without dropping a map, and they beat 4 different opponents, right? It's not like they remet a same opponent in the grand finals and they took them out again 3-0. I think I see a lot of promise in the other teams, like Shopify, like you said, TSM. GX3 even looked really good when I was watching them. CLG making the finals. They could have easily stolen a map from Cloud9 in this grand finals. So I think the scene is getting a lot better. And I think as time progresses, these tournaments definitely will not be this easy for Cloud9 White.
Yeah, thankfully, because of these tournaments, and thankfully for all of the support out there for tournament organizers to be supporting women in Valorant. Kudos. I'm going to cry here in a second. We're going to stop that right now, because right now it's some fantastic content. It's the Aim Lab flick of the day. We want to take one last look at some hot Valorant action. It's going to be CLG Red's Claudia in that 3K on Ascent. Dirty. Super dirty.
It was really sick. I mean, they looked like they were in such a bad spot on this round. So for Claudia to come up big with the Bladestorm, I think this was when Dan and I started becoming believers. Right, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. This was such a huge moment too, because Claudia was also showing that she wasn't fazed by how difficult some of these spots were. She just knew that even if they were down a lot and she had to make a really risky play, it's always totally in the zone and just ready to make the right move. And I always try to highlight this. When you're a duelist and you're having your team's having a tough game, you have the pressure on that. You're the person that has to make the difference with your plays. And I really liked that it was really clear that Claudia was not afraid to do what she had to do, and she always knew what she had to do. So yeah, really well deserved there, Claudia, with a fantastic performance.
Any final words, guys? Sean, do you want to say anything before we wrap up here?
No, I just can't give enough credit to the C9 players. I mean, I think people just don't give teams in Valorant the credit they deserve, because this game requires so much preparation and so much server-side time, and you can see it. I can visually see how much work they put in to synergize these abilities and get all these timings down perfectly. I actually think it's harder in this game than it is CS to be a cohesive five-person unit, and they nailed it throughout this entire event, regardless of their opponent. So hats off to them. Hats off to Mel for that MVP performance. And I mean, people like Jazzy that are so young, have such a bright future ahead of them. I mean, this is just so exciting. It's so exciting this early in the scene.
Yeah, I got to chime in as well to say that I think C9 White is so awesome, because they are really a pillar of the community, and it's really important and very special to have you always need that one team that shows everybody else how to do it and sets the culture with that. And I think C9 White is doing a very good job with that, in the way that, as Shaw mentioned, that they approach the game and they approach the professionalism aspects. I think setting the culture is so important. There's a huge trickle down effect that's just only very positive. And I've seen a bad version of that many times, but what we're seeing here is C9 White are doing it right, and I'm looking forward very much to all of the talent that will come up and be inspired by what they've been able to accomplish so far, and might even be beating them in the future.
Well said, guys. Definitely couldn't have said it better. All right, well, that's a wrap on Verizon VCT Game Changers presented by Dignitas. Congratulations again to Cloud9 White on their second Game Changers victory. Thank you to all 31 teams that participated, all right? I hope you continue to grind, because history is being written in women's esports. Hypes in chat for Nerd Street Gamers, of course, on Ops and Production. A massive thank you to Dignitas and all of our sponsors for making this even happen. A huge thank you to Riot for their blessings, and of course, to you all at home for watching. Couldn't have done this without an audience to be watching, right? You guys are the reason we're able to showcase this and get these ladies out there. I'm Lisa Lambert, aka Lucy May. We've got DDK, Sean Garrett. You guys are fantastic, and we look forward to seeing you at the next.